Shooter ready.
Yep.
Shooter ready? Stand by.
Shooter ready. Stand by.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by.
Shooter ready. Yep. Stand by.
Ready? Stand by.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Midwest Savage, and you are listening to... here, let me do this. Paul, let's do this together. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Midwest Savage, and this is my guy, Rickaroni, and she's
Back
also
again.
known as my my co...
Cohort.
he's my co-host. My co-host, Paul. My buddy, my pal, my guy. And this is the Shoot Are You Ready podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like, comment, share, subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps us out. Got to get that out of the way before you shut the channel off. And Paul, I'm excited about our next guest.
I am too. He is, well, he has a reputation for being a hater, but despite what you've heard, that's not who he is.
I actually talked to him. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
He just wants to make sure that you're not wasting your money on shit that doesn't work. And, you know, let's
There's somebody who spends and wastes money. I've mentioned it many times. I'm easily sold to.
If there
Something
are two
shiny,
people,
I buy it.
If there are two people that are easily sold to on the internet, it's definitely us. So here to tell us what our new opinion is, and probably tell you what your new opinion is, M26 Lemon Grenade.
Boom, there he is. How you doing?
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, that was my fault. I think I pushed that button. No, I didn't. There we go.
I had muted myself because my dog was getting in my face. So
Oh, there we go.
he's settled down.
All right. Well, first off, we're excited to have you here. I hope you're having a wonderful evening, and thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Paul, do you want to start this off? Because our last guest, I kind of hogged it.
No, I mean, I definitely can. But first of all, I think, Brad, just want to say thank you for joining us today. Obviously, you are now kind of one of the men of the internet, and especially when it comes to the AK world.
The internets.
There, you know, if you had to pick one internet to be on, I think you picked the right one because it's the one that we're on so that we can enjoy it. But I guess what has, like, give people a little bit of a background kind of beyond what we kind of just lightly touched on here. If I go to the top of your Instagram page, it says that you have an OnlyFans for Clash Parts. Obviously, I'm subscribed to that, but you have in recent times kind of become the guy for, you know, hey, here's what's going on in the AK community, and really been vocal about some of your thoughts on what the US AK industry needs to do in order to improve. How did you get to where you're at now?
Well, not being very intelligent, for one thing.
You're on the right podcast.
I waste a lot of money. So, you know, I'm a guy that I want hands-on. You know, if it's new on the market, I want to get my hands on it. I want to try it out, and I want to see what it's all about and see if it's worth the money I paid for it. And if it's not, I sell it off. I get rid of it. So what I'm all about is I waste a lot of my money. And if I can put out a 10, 20-minute video about this product that's honest and genuine about what I like, what I don't like, maybe that helps somebody make an informed decision so they don't waste their money. Because it's just so hard to get like honest information off YouTube anymore, off the internet, just because there's just, I don't like to use the word shill. I like to use the word paid spokesman. There's a lot of paid spokesmen out there that'll tell you, oh yeah, this is fantastic. And then you get it, it's like, no, it isn't. So
you might be guilty of that a time or two.
Yeah, we've all given bad recommendations, but you know, if I'm giving you a bad recommendation, it's because I honestly thought it was a good product.
Yeah.
You know, I have no connections to anybody in the industry, really. You know, so it's just like, I just have a desire to try to get people information to help them make an informed decision. That's it. So when I do I get this reputation of being like this huge hater, like, oh, you just hate everything. Yeah, I honestly hate a lot of things because there's a lot of crap on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't build it. I'm just the end user here. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at somebody putting it together or importing it or designing it. It's not me. You're getting mad at the wrong guy.
So now that I have Brad in my Rolodex, I will be getting a hold of him before I buy anything new.
If I have my hands on it, I'll give you my honest opinion. One of the fortunate things I've had is over the last, I'd say 3 years, is I don't know everything. I'm the first one to tell you, I don't consider myself an expert. But what I don't know, I have a nice, what I call the circle of steel. It's these professional builders in my phone that can answer any question I have. So it's very nice being on the internet and being on Instagram, stuff like that, because I built a network of people that if I don't know something, I can ask them. Like, hey, I got this product. What do you think? Like, yeah, it's great, or no, it's total dog shit for XYZ. So that's one thing that the internet has given me that I really appreciate. But
nice. Well,
it's still annoying being on the internet.
Absolutely. Jamie and I were actually just talking about this, where like no matter what you put out, there's always going to be a 14-year-old on Reddit who says that you're wrong.
Oh yeah. And
which, I mean, hey, if you tell me that I'm wrong, excellent. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because like I want to learn something here too. Have you always been hands-on? Maybe even like, hey, you started with cars or you started with skateboards, and really wanted to kind of dig into what was out there? Or has that really kind of started with firearms? Or has it always been firearms and now it's just, hey, you've started to put these out online?
Well, I mean, that's a difficult question because
damn it, Paul.
what was that?
I said, damn it, Paul. It's supposed to be fun here.
No. What I mean by that is like I got out of the Marine Corps in 2005, and I had post-traumatic stress, things like that. So I was drinking a lot and sleeping with slutty women, which is not something I recommend if you have issues like that. So that's not like that's not something that you want to continue. So I had to channel that into something constructive, which would be a hobby. And that hobby just ended up being firearms. So, getting into firearms is just a way to kind of channel this PTSD and all these problems I was having into something positive, and I just kept running with it.
Nice. So instead of spending money on flashy women, he started buying flashy guns.
Well, yeah, I
mean,
I got fortunate. I met somebody that wouldn't mind settling down with. Okay, I got to shelve the boozing and the whoring, and find something constructive to do with my time, and that turned out to be firearms. But it's actually funny. It's actually funny. Is like when I actually bought my first Kalashnikov in Fallujah back in like 2004. So that was like my first Kalashnikov purchase, and the first like commercial one was like 2006, and the one I bought in Fallujah was actually better than the one I bought in America in 2006, because the one I bought in 2006 was like a Wasser underfolder. I mean, it was just like, it was horrible. I mean, it was.
See, I don't feel bad for saying that, man.
Yeah, I mean, nothing was straight on it. I mean, it kind of worked. I mean, it was just absolute dog shit, but at the same time, I loved it.
Now, see, it was like right after COVID, like when everybody was buying guns, and then like the Zastavas came into the market and everybody started buying Zastava AKs. I mean, they've been in the market, but it just seemed like the flooding of Zastava was like around COVID. But
well, I mean, before that, you had just, was it the Balkan Wars, like surplus?
Yeah,
like the OPAPs and I think the ZPAPs.
Yeah, ZPAPs, ZPAParichis.
And those were just like century, garbage builds. Like maybe they were built correctly, maybe they weren't. Who knows? It's a gambling. But 2019, 2020 is when they started getting the factory ones from Zasava. I can never say it right. So I'm not a fan, but if you are a fan,
I own some. I mean, it is what it is. But I fell into the hype of buying an underfolder from Atlantic. They were like, "We got these Wasser underfolders.
Oh yeah,
It's been forever. We don't know when we're gonna get any more." I was like, "Shit, I gotta buy one."
I gotta get one right now.
Yeah, I was like, "Buy. Where's my card? Buy." So I bought one, and I put like some, way better furniture on it that was better, just like some surplus, like really nice, like reverse dong and a fat Polish Bakelite grip, and I was like, "Oh, this thing is sweet." And then I shoot it, and I'm like, "This fucking sucks,"
Yeah,
but it looks awesome. It looks so cool.
I hate
But
underfolders,
dude,
and
it is
more
the
than
worst
like
to shoot.
the only thing I hate more than like Polish or a AMD underfolder, not AMD, the Hungarian underfolders, the Romanians, just because they got that downward
Yeah,
slope.
it's yeah, that's what I tell everybody. It's terrible.
I hate
You're
that
like
so
shooting
much.
it up here
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's like a 45-degree fucking stock angle. It's terrible.
The Polish, the Bulgarians, the Russians, the Hungarians are all like in line with your stock.
Yeah.
The Romanians are like, F that, we ball. Like, we don't
Yeah.
care.
I think that was like for shooting behind cover, so you could have it like this while you're ducked down.
You don't
But
need
yeah,
sights. Just aim down the side
no,
of the
just
gun. You're cool.
blast it.
Yep.
But I mean, it looks great in my driveway on a sunny day on Instagram. But like shooting it is terrible. Like I own an assortment of AK type rifles, and that has to be at the bottom of my list
Yeah.
as far as function.
I forget who did it, but somebody took a bunch of pictures of the Romanian revolution. When they kicked out the communist president, and there's like some dude in like Nikes with a underfolder like running, and that was like the ad for somebody selling like Romanian underfolder. I think it was Dead Goose Society. This was like back in 2015ish. They're defunct now. It's like, okay, I want to buy one just because that's a cool picture.
Yeah, right. I would have bought it. I'm easily sold to. I'd been like, hell yeah, I gotta get some
Yeah.
Nikes and that rifle.
Give me the jacket too.
Yeah, right.
I want to complete the look.
But Paul, we touched on this the last time we talked, and I want to get back on this because there's been no update. But speaking of people hating you on the internet and like giving your honest opinion and people calling you a shill,
Yep.
I got called out on Reddit. I didn't get called out. I don't know if this guy listens. I don't know if this guy listens. But
you had me at Reddit. That's all you need to say.
Yeah, there's this thing going around now about WBPs. At first, it was all right. 6 months ago, it was I'm buying my first AK. What do I get? And like WBP was in the 3 that people would suggest. I'll get a WBP. And now it's WBP 5.56, worst accuracy in the world. And I'm like, when did this happen? Did I miss something?
No.
And then like, yeah, and like I don't know. I have one, and I don't think I have that bad of issues with it. It hits what I aim at as far as like, when I'm in competitions, it works. But somebody was like, I've got this on it and this, and it's terrible. And then I just commented something about this guy who like the original poster is going to be at KCON. I was like, oh, I'll see you in a couple months. And this guy's like, I bought this because of your video. And I was like, whose video? My video? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I was like, I hope it all works out. This, that, the other. And then like I've got nothing and no reply from him at all or nothing. So I think I lost a subscriber and he hates me. But this price you pay, and I don't know. Like me and Paul got into. I think the last podcast we got into like a 25-minute debate on how accurate is this guy's accuracy on the line. Like, is he was he shooting off of a Furby instead of a decent bench rest? Like, I mean, what the hell are we talking about here? Was it 20-mile-an-hour crosswinds and he wasn't mentioning that? I know you don't like 5.56 AKs.
I have them. I get the appeal, but it's just not my go-to.
I love 7.62. If you gave me a 5.56 and a 7.62, I would pick the 7.62 first, just because
every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
But there's an appeal to me to 5.56. I think it's because I never got in the 5.45 game because I could see the writing on the wall. Like by the time I thought about getting this, a 5.45, I was like, this isn't going to end up good. And but like, I don't know. I got to take mine out and shoot my 5.56 to see the accuracy, because I don't think it's as bad as these people on Reddit are saying. They're saying they're getting like 16-inch spreads at 100 yards.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, that's a little drastic to me.
It's probably closer. Like the worst that I've personally seen is probably 4 to 6 MOA, and I was able to correct it just by recrowning it. So, there's a whole, when you're talking accuracy, there's so many different things that go into it. It could be a bad barrel, it could be a bad crown. That guy might not be able to know how to shoot an AK.
Right.
AK Mario, I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
he's got plenty of stories of guys coming in with like AK, like this thing is dog shit, and they just don't know how to shoot an AK, right?
Yeah.
They don't know how the sight works. They just don't know how to shoot the damn thing. So there's so many variables go in that. But me personally, I've seen WBPs that are like 4, 5, 6 MOA, like legitimately, like we took it out to 100 yards and it's printing like that. That was probably the worst one. But I've also had them that once I recrowned it, I was able to shrink it down to about 2 to 3, which is not.
That's not for an AK.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's service grade.
Yeah.
It's fine. So it's just really a mixed bag, and you know how it works. Like one person posts something on Reddit or YouTube.
Oh
or
yeah, then they come out of the woodwork with torches
like,
after that.
Yeah. Just like, oh, look at this, look. What's that meme of?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Brandon no shit. But yeah, it's crazy how fast a fire can spread, basically, because like you said, it's this guy's like, I'm getting 14, 16, spread, and I'm like, okay. And like you said, like, is it a windy day? Is it the guy's first AK? Is it one of the 50 rounds he shoots all year?
Is he using the cheapest ammo known to man?
Exactly.
There's so many different variables.
But no, there's no variables on Reddit. It's a bad barrel. It comes all down to it's a shit AK. Everybody stop the presses. Nobody buy WBPs right now. They're terrible. And it's wild how crazy like something will start like that. And then guess what? 6 months from now, it'll be like master race WBP 5.56s,
I already hear that. Like I got screenshots on my Instagram of this guy just like trying to tell everybody that the WBP AKM is the best AKM that has ever been created. It's like,
I don't know, man.
Not really.
I got one on the wall behind me that'll start a huge argument with, and well, I don't know. Now Reddit's coming back around because unpopular opinion. Well, I don't know. It's coming. Like I said, it's coming back around. I have this 103 up here, this KUSA, and that thing is fucking amazing.
Well, KUSA, great core parts. They started off really well, and then when they started having money trouble, that's when you start seeing like questionable barrels and bad rivets, things like that. And that's really is a shame, but that's what happens when you make bad decisions. You have a good product, but you have really questionable business decisions.
It's sad because like I have like a few Wassers, some Zastavas, WBPs, Arsenals, all types of shit, and then like that KUSA, that's like I'll go to that thing.
Oh yeah,
that's always my backup at a competition in case something goes down. I have shot many of thousands of rounds through this thing, never an issue, and it's just it's so smooth right now, and it's crazy because you tell, oh yeah, it's my KUSA, and they're like, huh, really? But now on Reddit, you go on Reddit and somebody's like, oh, I just bought this KUSA, and it's like, goodbye, dude. Oh, those are fantastic, and I'm like, where the fuck were you guys a year ago?
Well, it's like I was just like we were just saying, somebody posts some bad stuff about KUSA on the internet, and everybody's like,
yeah,
everybody has quality problems. I don't care who you are, bad guns are going to get through, right? So, is that a true sample size, or is that just like a bad gun that slipped through? Who knows?
Well,
we don't know.
Yeah. I'd also really like to know like how many rifles some of these companies are realistically shipping.
Oh, dude.
Because if you're like if you are putting out 40,000 rifles a month and 3 of them are bad, you know what? Those are some pretty good numbers. I mean, that's Hall of Fame Jordan numbers, probably beyond that. But if you're like, hey, we produce 10 rifles a month and 3 of them are bad,
right?
That's pretty damn shitty. And like so that's
the defense for like PSA all the time, which they put out a lot of guns.
Yeah.
I remember Cameron talking about their 2020 capacity, which was, if you do the math, was like 8,000 AKs a month.
That's insane.
That's 5 years ago capacity. So you take 1% of that, 1% of that is like what, 80 rifles? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
that's almost 2 in every state.
Right. Exactly. So if what we're seeing on the internet, the failures, all this stuff, if that's, the sample size of 80 rifles a month, they're well within the 1%. failure rate that's pretty much a benchmark for quality standards across any product.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they don't build them correctly.
Yeah.
They're
Well, it gets
essentially not building them correctly. So
it gets back to what you say about core parts
Yeah.
and like what's actually on the internal, and then rivets that have been out there. And I'd really be curious also to see, like, okay, of that 80, okay, how many actually get returned?
Right.
And then, hey, you're outputting 8,000 rifles a month, but how many of those are seriously being shot?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm sure that they're fantastic for somebody who's going to go out and shoot, half
case a year.
half a case a year, even,
Yeah.
or even just 250 rounds a year. But like, if you need something that you actually need to depend on, and you're going to, do some serious shooting with, whether it's 1,000 or 5,000, it's still a failure.
Yeah, that's it. Those guns really are designed for like 5,000 rounds. That's what they are.
Yeah.
If you're the guy that's going to shoot 500 rounds a year, that gun's going to last you 10 years. That's money well spent. But if
Mhm.
you're the guy that's going to shoot like 5,000 rounds a year, nope, it's not money well spent. And that's just kind of my gripe. If you just want like a casual shooter, go for it. I support you. A range toy, go for it. I support you. But the problem is they're not marketing like that. They're always showing it like it's this hard use, like operator type equipment, and it's a range toy.
Yeah, it's for somebody who's AK curious.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing though. Like if it was a Gen 3 that costs like, $400 or $500, I support it. Yeah, buy that thing if you're curious. But it's not. It's a Gen 3 that's going to cost you like what, $700? That's a lot of money.
Somewhere around in there.
It's got an FN barrel though. That's the selling point. It's got an FN barrel.
Oh, it's got an FN barrel and ALG trigger. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But it still has their shitty trunnion and bolt in it. So
now, see, I have never owned a PSA just because, like, when I started getting into guns, I bought I built my first AR with PSA parts, and I've heard from then what shit they are. And then I've never heard a whisper of a good thing about their AKs. I've known people who have them and shoot them, but I don't.
The good thing about their AKs is that they have the ability to put out so many of them.
Yeah.
They have the ability to put out 8,000 Kalashnikovs a month. Nobody else has that ability.
Right.
So they can do whatever the hell they want. They could just like, and they dominate the market. Everybody has to meet their price point. That's like one of the downfalls of KUSA is, what did KUSA go for? Like $1,500, something like that.
Yeah, towards the end there, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm a new AK buyer and I see let's say $1,400 KUSA, and there's a Gen 3 PSA for like $700.
Yeah, for about half, yeah.
And there's nobody really telling me what I'm spending that money on, that extra money. I'm going to go for the PSA all day.
Yeah,
right.
You'll get that.
They're pricing everybody out of market. So everybody is at a rush to meet their price point. But they could do whatever the hell they want.
they just drove Delton out of business. I got the email today that Delton also kind of drove themselves out of business. But
Delton was my
just
first AR.
Same.
My first AR.
Yeah, 20-inch. It was like their A4 H-bar flat top, and I put it on an Anderson lower. As is tradition.
We all done it. No shame.
I'll defend Anderson lowers. It's just I mean,
I've had Anderson lower crack on me, so
okay. I haven't had one crack on me yet. I also don't have any right now, but I've built quite a few ARs on Anderson lowers, and I've actually had some worse tolerances on arrow lowers recently than I've seen on Anderson.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Shots fired. Now, see me, I got rid of all my ARs except one. I still have I have two. I have two ARs. One is a palmetto that I built myself, so I'd feel terrible selling it to anybody. That's like selling somebody like my used Pinto that I beat the shit out of, and it's got 3 sets of brakes instead of 4. I couldn't do it to somebody. Yeah, I couldn't do it to somebody and sleep at night. So I keep it. It's mine. I haven't shot it in forever. And the other one I have is like a Diamondback 300 black, and
nice.
yeah, won it in a raffle.
Throw
So-
some Strike Industries red anodized parts on there, and you might have something.
No, I did even better.
I'm
I
guilty
like
of it too. I'm guilty of the red anodized. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude,
Yeah,
that was the culture.
That
I
was
Like,
I never
were-
read anodized, but I did a lot of the fill in, like where all the shit's etched
Oh,
on the
yeah.
lower. You're like, oh, let me take this crayon, and then you wipe it down with WD-40, and now
All
it
right,
looks cool.
I'm gonna tell you the story. It's fucking hilarious. All right, so I did a whole setup of gray and red. I did a gray and red rifle,
Mhm.
and then I was like, I got a gray Glock long slide, not a 17. What's the long slide Glock? I have 9mm.
34.
Yeah,
There you go. I had a gray, like ellipses, a gray Glock, right? And I was on eBay and I saw red sight, like red rear sight for a Glock. I was like, sell it to me. So this person sold me this red sight because I could accessorize, like the gray and red thing. And I got it, and it was just a regular sight that they took a red Sharpie.
There you go. There's your red sight.
I was like, you sons of bitches.
Did you leave him a bad review?
No, like if somebody gets one over on me, I respect you, right? Like
Hey, that's a
you-
fool me once situation.
You
yeah,
win.
You've earned my money. You bamboozled me. That's very difficult to do. Like another one I remember was when the Bulgarian commercial AKM mags came out. They're like slab side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when those first hit the market, I saw on Gunbroker somebody was selling them for like $25 a piece. I was like, oh my god, I got to get this. So I bought 3 of them, and then like a week later, I saw them on Gun Mag Warehouse for like 15. I was like, oh, you cocksuckers.
Yeah,
I even emailed them. I was like, you got me, you cocksuckers. And they said,
that
we're like, we'll give you a refund. Like, oh, no, you earned your money. It's fine. Like, you earned
That
that.
I did that same thing happened to me with Packy tape. When like Packy tape,
Oh,
you
the
used to
Packy
be able
tape,
to find it, and then like you couldn't find it after COVID for a while, and then somebody on like a Facebook group was like, I got all this Packy tape. I'm selling the multicolored bundles, and I was like, holy shit. And then I think it was like $30 for like 5 different colors. I was like, fuck it, I'm buying it. And then like 2 weeks later, Muka had a bunch, and he was selling it cheap, and I seen him at the competition, Thunder on the Tundra, and I was like, man, you're selling that shit dirt cheap. I was like, I bought it off this guy on Facebook. He's like, yeah, I seen that guy. I undercut the fuck out of him. I was like, man.
A friend of mine, he's like an old school Kalashnikov guy. He's been in the game since the 90s, and he has like a whole crate of Packy tape that he bought just to clone shit.
Yeah.
And like when that was like a big craze, he's like, I'm just tempted to flood the market. Like,
Right. That guy, he's got the option.
Man.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna flood the market at like 50 cents a roll just because it's
Just because I can, just to watch the world burn.
Yeah, that's him. He's a world burn.
I would do the same thing if I had something like that. That would be hilarious to me. Just waiting for the right moment.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's the guy that's gonna like pull the rug on GameStop stock. You know what I mean? Just like I'm gonna flood the market. Fuck 'em.
Dude, that's like Bakelite mags, though. I feel like there was a time where you literally could not give Bakelite mags away, and now they're what, $200 a piece?
I
Like
used to
100,
buy 'em-
yeah.
I used to buy them at gun shows for like $15 a piece. Nobody wanted it. You know, I bought a few, and I was like, I don't need that many mags. I still got plenty of comm block steel mags. You know, I don't need too many of them. It's just like one of those things you just kick yourself because you didn't pick up on it at the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What are these orange things?
Yeah.
Why do I
What are
need
these
those?
wooden magazines? Why does everybody
Yeah.
want these wood?
Well, the ones I saw, the guy like cut the witness holes in the side. You know, like these
Oh,
do
yeah.
in Afghanistan. I was like, why am I buying this, man? There's holes in the side. This is bullshit. Like, that can't be good for the mag. Like, you're gonna
It
get
says
dirt in there.
Ukraine on the side. He ruined it.
Funny
Yeah.
story. So this was back in. I'm banned from PayPal for arms trafficking.
Oh, nice.
So
It's a good reason to be banned.
yeah. So this is what happened there. Like after the Ukrainian civil war, like 2014.
Mhm.
Like I don't know how I did. I got in contact with this guy who had a shitload of like tool parts. So I was like buying tool parts from this guy using PayPal like an idiot, and then PayPal like seized my account, took all my money, all that shit.
Oh,
They said you were banned for international arms trafficking. It's like I'm just buying shit from a guy in Ukraine. Like what?
Come on.
You're
I
like
was
that,
a businessman conducting business.
This is a businessman conducting business. Don't be
you're like
sick,
that,
you know what I
you're
mean?
like that guy in that Jonah Hill movie that was that Bradley Cooper played the big arms dealer guy in that
Oh,
what was
yeah.
that War
Yeah,
Dogs
they
movie.
were
I only like to
trafficking
spend 3
Chinese
days in
ammo.
this shithole.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody hates Vegas. I'm talking about America.
yeah, right.
That I got really curious based off of that movie. So I
Oh,
went back
everybody
and
did.
I read the Rolling Stones articles. It was like way more intense than the movie
Oh
made it
yeah.
out to
Oh
be.
yeah.
Like the whole like triangle of death where they were like, we're going to drive these pistols across like, the Iraqi desert to make it to Baghdad and
Yeah, the
sell that.
Sunni Triangle, no big deal.
Yeah. They
Gas
did
is
that.
free in Iraq, right? Gas is
They did
free.
that like a couple of times. And they were starting to get some like really big contracts towards the end. Like it wasn't just the one where they were going to like rearm the entire Afghani army that the movie portrays. They were like doing like multi-million-dollar contracts for
Oh yeah.
a lot of
Well, I mean,
stuff.
even in the movie, that Beretta contract you're talking about was like $2.4 million.
Jesus.
2.4
Yeah.
million just to get Berettas to the dipshit Iraqi army. You know, like what? Like
What-
I can do that. Like,
Yeah.
Didn't the Iraqis already have a Beretta copy, like the Tark or something like that they were already making?
yeah, they were garbage.
Well,
Like
no surprise there.
I mean, it was a copy of a copy. So the Egyptians had the Hawani, I think it was called, HELWAN, the Hwan or something like that. And all the Iraqis did was just take the copy of the Beretta and make a copy of the Beretta, and it was even more garbage. Like my a buddy of mine he smuggled one back from Iraq, and he's like, I'm never shooting this thing. It's like pot metal.
Yeah. It's like the high point of the Mideast right there.
Yeah, that nothing says I need to shoot this like high point Middle East, the Middle East high point. Like,
Dude,
yeah, let's put some plus P in there and just see what happens.
yeah.
Let's rock and roll.
I was at work one day and it was like I was working in the middle of the night and we get a call, somebody hit a pole. It happens all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh great, just when things were getting quiet. So we go out there and there's cops all up and down this street. And I'm like, oh man, we got here at the right time. What's going on? And then we see like the yellow markers in the middle of the road. I was like, oh man, get out of the truck. Let's go see what's happening. And so we, act like we're working, looking at poles, but we're really like looking around in the backs of cars and shit, trying to find out what happened. And this cop's like, hey, watch out walking over there. There's a gun on the sidewalk. I was like, there is? And so I walk over the sidewalk and I look and I was like, is that a high point? And the one cop's, yeah. I was like, are you giving him extra charges for having a shitty gun? And then the cop just started laughing. And then this dude sitting in the back of the car looking like, yeah, that was my shitty gun. But it was interesting. I guess it was some high-speed car chase and they were shooting at each other. And the one guy decided, I'm going to hit this pole and try and jump in this backyard. But then I guess some neighbor came out and he was armed and like started yelling at the dude. And that was the dude. Yeah. That was when that dude dropped his high point and took off running. And I was like, yeah, he probably, dropped 15 pounds so he could start running.
I used to have on my first Instagram 5 years ago, like shitty open carries that I would see everywhere. And my absolute favorite was a guy that was appendix carrying a high point.
Nice.
He's got a high point pointed straight at his nutsack. And I was just like,
I used to belong to this gun group on Facebook in Illinois, and we would all like conglomerate together, like once or twice a year to go to this gun range in the middle of Illinois, and everybody would, it was a place to share memes, have a good time, back when you were able to do that. And they had this one dude who was like, the head guy of this gun group. He had one of them $100 bill high points, but he had like Trijicon sights put on the side of it so that you had to hold it sideways when you shot it. It was pretty ridiculous, but yeah, that was the hundo.
That's like my respect to the high point guys. They know what they are.
Yeah,
they're not trying to bullshit you. Like we
No.
know what we are. We're gonna what was it, the yeet cannon? Like we're gonna put out a yeet cannon. We're gonna give you $100 high point.
I still can't believe that they made that. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like you said,
I remember talking to a high point salesman. He was in my local gun shop, and he's like, "Yeah, this is the Hooker Slayer 2000." Like after you get done dumping that hooker, you just throw it in the river. You're out like $100.
Nice.
I was like, okay, I almost want to buy one just for that sales pitch. You're amazing.
There was a guy who at my local IDPA match, he was shooting a red dot he was one of the first people that I saw shooting a red dot on a pistol. And
Okay.
this is when people would freak out about, like, if you have a red dot on your pistol, that's open. Like, there's no divisions allowed in here. Why do you have a scope on your gun? Like, very like FUDs, where
Right.
it was like you'd shred through a delta. You'd have 3 delta points because one would break, and then you just swap in another one.
Right.
And he had one on some kind of CZ. And I just remember everybody complaining about him. The only reason you win is because, you know, you shoot this CZ with a custom trigger and all this, blah, blah, blah. And then he went out and he got a high point, and he shredded everybody with a high point still. And it was like, no, skill is skill, and y'all suck, and I'll still beat you with a high point. And he did. And that was one where, now I think he put some work into that high point, because it, like, never hiccuped. And I mean, he went out there and he really did work with it. But that was the first time where I was like, oh, this is, you know, big dicks in town. And here he is.
Yeah, we had I used to live like 3 miles away from Olin Winchester in Alton. And they had a company range where you could go and all you had to do was just buy their ammo. And they had like leagues, and they call it a heavy metal league, which you had to have a 308 and a 45 or a 10 millimeter, your choice. And this one guy showed up with a M1 Garand, and he would just fucking shred it. Like, he was just like running that thing like nobody's business. And it was amazing. Like, he just go out there with like the bandolier, like not even like pouches, just had like the Army bandolier. And man, he was just running that thing like it was D-Day. It was amazing. And everybody would just complain, like, what are you complaining about? He's literally kicking our asses with a 60-year-old rifle.
Yeah. He's got 8 rounds of 30-06.
Yeah.
Like, even if you were running, man, you could run a FAL or an M1A or a G3 where you've got 20-round box magazines where you don't have to stuff them into the top.
Right. Like, yeah, I'm sorry that you suck with your FAL that you spent, you know, at the time, like $1,200 on. I'm sorry, but this guy is kicking ass. Like,
so I would like to talk about battle rifles for a second.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and I'm not going to pull it up, but you did call it a cringe photo of you in 2008 with your first rifle when you got out of the Marines, a Springfield SOCOM 16.
Yep.
The Springfield M1A, I think, has somewhat of an undeserved reputation. And as someone who's owned one, I don't know if you still own this one.
I've had a couple. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on not only the M1A, but also just battle rifles in general? If you had to rank them, like, is there still a place for a battle rifle out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before I talk about that, going back to being gullible, the whole reason I bought the M1A, I saw an ad in a gun magazine. So it was like this dude like low crawling with a M1A, and he's all covered in mud and all this stuff. And I still remember it said, "Make sure you bring enough gun." I was like, "Well, fuck, I got to go buy that."
I need that fucking thing.
I want to make sure I get enough gun.
Well, now we are going to have to bring it up to make sure that we can, as a presentation. Jamie, I brought that up for us, just to make sure, like, hey, this is what enough gun looks like.
That is me about 3 years out of the Marine Corps. Still able to carry 8 magazines of 30-06. I'm sorry, 308.
Nice. Honestly, the carrier is kind of a vibe. Like the chest rig that you got on here, like it looks like it works.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I used to run those matches with. I was telling you about I just run that. And to be honest, I was living in right outside of St. Louis. I always felt like, this is basically Mogadishu on a good day. So anything could happen. I just wanted to make sure I had something in case shit ever went down. So
this is bringing enough gun right here.
Yeah, that's actually 8. That's actually 8 magazines there. So 8 magazines with a 45 ACP. I think it was a Springfield 1911.
Oh, so we were brand loyal between rifle and pistol in this picture.
Well, the Springfield I actually bought when I was still in the Marine Corps, and I took it to Fallujah with me illegally. So I bought that just because I didn't know anything about guns at the time. I just remember hearing our platoon sergeant always bitch about how weak 9mm is. It's like, well, this guy says it's 9mm sucks. I better get a 45. and that was like the only 45 that the gun store on base had. So I bought that, and I carried that illegally. And you know, fun times. Nothing like walking around with a court martial stuffed in your pants. But I already had that, and then I carried an M14 for about 3 weeks in the Marines in Iraq. This was before like ACOGs. We still had M16 A2s, right? And you know, with no kind of optics whatsoever. And our gunnery sergeant, who was a sniper, he was able to talk the Navy into loaning us like 3 of their M14s, because the Navy still had like M14s for like ship detail, stuff like that. So I carried one a little bit in Iraq, and I was familiar with it. So when I got out of the Marines, I hate 5.56 because 5.56. I've seen plenty of dudes like get hit with 5.56 and it doesn't stop them, right? So I wanted to make sure I brought enough gun, you know, back to that ad. And 308 seemed to be the ticket. And I was familiar with the M14, so I picked up a SOCOM. So that's kind of like where I started. I had nothing but problems with that thing. You know, I bought it from my local gun store, brand new, and it didn't have a firing pin in it. So I went to go test fire.
That's a safety concern right there.
That'd be an issue.
Yeah,
like
so I was like, what the hell? So I contacted Springfield, sent it in. Took me like 6 weeks to get it back. Again, this was 2007 time frame, so it's been a minute. They sent it back to me. I ran it for like 500 rounds, and then one of the locking lugs sheared off the bolt. And I was like, what the fuck? So I contacted them again. I said, hey, a locking lug just sheared off the bolt. And I remember the guy I was on the phone with said, there's no way you're having this much problem with one of our products. It's like, I'm fucking looking at a sheared bolt right now, pal. I'm not making this up. So I just said, screw it. I bought you can still buy plenty of surplus parts at this time. So I bought a surplus M14 bolt and dropped it in there, and it had space fine. I just ran it with that. I got tired of dealing with customer service. That really was like my first, like, I'm tired of dealing with customer service. Let's fix it ourselves scenario. And it ran fine for years. I just sold it off because I got older and fatter, and I couldn't carry a 308 as well. So that's when I made the switch to 7.62 by 39. But anyway, back to battle rifles. I think there's still a place for it. I mean, when you look at like the things going on in Ukraine, right? I don't know how many videos I've seen of dudes getting dropped by a 308 rifle with a thermal. You know, there's you know, like an AR-10 or you know, whatever the hell they got over there, just a semi-automatic, just dropping dudes. You know, there's a trade-off, of course, you know, so I wouldn't want to carry it as like a standard infantry rifle. I mean, that would suck, you know, carrying just so heavy. I mean, you're carrying 8 magazines or more of 308. I mean, that gets heavy. You're not going to be mobile. Like, you are not going to be mobile. There's like the plate carrier and all that stuff. No, not going to happen. But you know, the M14 especially gets a reputation for being shit, and 80% of the people that say it's shit has never actually touched an M14. They just saw a YouTube video from somebody like Forgotten Weapons or somebody, and they said, well, you know what, that thing's dog shit because of XYZ. It's like, have you ever ran one? Like, no.
That's funny because I got into an argument with my buddy Brandon one time because I was talking about something. He's like, M26 Lemon Grenade says those are shit. And I was like, Brandon, I don't give a fuck what M26 Lemon Grenade says.
You're welcome.
and here we are hanging on every word.
Yeah, right. And now he's going to be like, oh my God, you guys had M26 Lemon Grenade.
Well, I also think it's very interesting calling out Ukraine. And listen, I don't know combat action from football. Like, I'm not saying this from an area of expertise, but 9 Hole Reviews recently was doing a video on the SCAR, and they made a comment about how when the SCAR, the heavy, the 308 was originally kind of T&E tested by the SEALs, how the SEALs really disliked it. And now in Ukraine, you know, you're seeing guys that are running SCARs, kind of the same platform, maybe a generation or two before, and they love them.
Wow.
So love them.
Yeah.
kind of as a quote, but it's one of those where, hey, there's probably been some generational differences that are out there too. But it doesn't take much to get a reputation.
No,
Brad, aside from AKs, how do you feel about the SCAR?
I've only shot one once, and I don't see the hype. That's just me. I don't like the reciprocating charging handle. All the memes of guys with broken fingers.
Been
Yeah,
there.
I've done it. It's just like, yeah, I understand the meme now. Like, keep your fingers away from the reciprocating charging handle.
I'm quite the marksman with a SCAR.
Yeah, but it's just like, I mean, I have a AR-10 now, AR-10 pattern, actually an AR-308 if we want to get technical, the SAR-25. That I have one of those, and it cost me like $1,200. How much does a SCAR go for? Like what? I haven't priced them in a while, like 3,000.
They're up there.
It's ridiculous.
So
Yeah,
I actually.
So are you really getting $3,000 with a gun, or can you just get like a $1,400 AR-308 pattern and just spend more money on ammo and training?
I have always been battle rifle curious, we'll call it. And I mean, I've owned FALs, G3s. I've shot Garands extensively, and I know that's not the same, but I'm kind of using it as a placeholder for an M1A here, even though they're nowhere near each other. But I've been heartbroken by FALs, G3s. I feel like I'm just kind of all over the place with.
I've never liked the FAL. I've had, I think, 2 now, and I've never liked them. I know they're supposed to be like the right hand of the free world and all that shit, and I'm probably going to piss off a lot of guys in like short shorts when I say this, but I just don't see the appeal. Like, I just don't like them.
Yeah,
that's just me personally. I'd rather have a G3. Like,
I love a G3.
Yes,
yeah, G3 is so simple. It is just the simplest gun. Doesn't have a gas system. It works no matter what, as long as it's timed correctly. And the magazines are like what, $10? Like they're $10.
Sometimes even cheaper. And those $10 mags are HK mags. They're like the quality ones. I think I've had 3 G3s, and they do take a little bit of like, you got to run the right ammo with them.
Got to run the right ammo. You got to get used to the fact that you can't adjust, the recoil impulse. So it's a stout gun to shoot, to be sure.
Yeah.
Mounting optics kind of sucks, unless you got the like a PTR with the rail welded on top. But at the same time, it is an actual battle rifle. There is very little that's going to stop that gun from working.
Yes,
I've shot one of them PTRs at Clash Bash, and then I was like, I love this fucking
They
thing.
also suppress decently well.
Yeah, I've never tried to suppress one just because I'm not a suppressor guy. I don't get into suppressors too much. Like, I have one suppressor that I use, but I don't get like all crazy about it. Like, I don't care how many decibels it is. It's 10 years old at this point. There's leaps and bounds in technologies that I just don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
Like, I have a suppressor just so if I want to shoot some coyotes, I'm not waking the neighbors up.
There you go.
That's pretty much the only purpose I have it for.
The suppressors I really care about are 22 suppressors. Like,
I don't even own a 22. I've never owned one.
Damn, you heard it here first, folks.
Never, huh?
I've never owned a 22 and never really cared.
Wow.
Like, I think the smallest caliber I've ever owned was like a 32, and that was just because I like the Savage 1907 pistol. I think that's a cool gun. So
Brad, I'd like to apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. That's a beautiful gun.
Yeah, I've had a Colt pocket pistol. That was 32. I had so many like goofy 32s. Like, I got into like really into the World War I 32s there for a while. So like shit.
Did you ever have one of the French rubies? They're kind of like smaller.
No, I never had a
ones.
I don't know. I had a couple French guns. I had a Mac, the MAC, and the 19 shit. I got brain fog. You got to forgive me. I can't remember the nomenclatures, but like, I had the ones that took the 32 French long, which was a pain in the ass. I had to go to I think Steiner was the company's name. They like specially made it, and they especially made it because of Ian McCall just bothered the shit out of them until they made it.
That was one of the original gun memes of like the 2015, 2018 kind of time frame. where everybody would walk up to him and be like, "Do you? I have 32 French long. You just have to get in the back of my trailer."
Yeah, like I had a bunch of those, and I was a bunch of weird World War I guns, and that's the smallest caliber I own. I got a 380 that my dad won in a poker game
Nice.
back in the 90s.
Bluffed.
Yeah. Oh, my old man, he had two guns. And both of them were like, one was an Astra 380, which is like a Spanish revolver that he won in a pool game. Like he used to hustle pool for extra money. We were really poor, and the story goes, he hustled this guy, and he's like, "Hey, pay up." And the guy's like, "I don't have any money to pay you." And he's like, "Well, you better give me fucking something." So he said this guy pulls out a 357 Astra, and he's like, "Oh no, my time is here." Like he's really legitimately thought this guy was going to shoot him, and he puts the gun on the pool table. He's like, will this cover? He's like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Just don't shoot me.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, that was his carry gun for most of my life. Was he always had that Astra 357? When I got a little bit older and I can understand some things like that, why don't you just carry like a 9mm? Why do you got the 357? He's like, "Well, son, if I have to dump some crackhead, I don't have to worry about picking up shell casings. I just want to be able to go." Like, never asked my dad why he carries a 357 ever again. Like,
he's a practical man.
Yeah, very. Yeah, he was something.
This guy's watched a lot of police shows. He knows that they're going to be looking for shell casings.
Well, I mean, we grew up in East St. Louis. We knew the deal.
All right. My
you don't wait for the cops. You just disappear into the background.
Yeah. My stepdad toted around.
What happened here?
His head just did that.
Oh my God!
He was laying there bleeding when we got here.
Who would do that? The world we live in.
Come on, son. Let's go to KFC.
No, it was Church's Chicken back in the day.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Gotta go to Church's. There are the Churches on the corner.
My stepdad toted around a 380 Makarov that I now own.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when I first was talking to him, he's like, "This is what I carry." I was like, "Really?" Like, "What the hell?" It's like, "What is that thing?" And I looked at it. I was like, "Oh, I know what this is." I was like, "Okay, it's actually okay. You're all right with me." But then I think he had a big ass revolver one day, but the cops took it from him because some kids were riding their dirt bikes through the lawn, and he went off and busted off a couple warning shots in the air, and apparently that's not legal.
No.
And so the gun was gone, and he sat in jail that night. And I was like, "Damn, why'd you let him take your revolver?" But I guess he didn't have a choice.
Why did you let them?
Yeah, right. You should have fought for it. You're only like 60 something. You should have fought for it.
Yeah,
get on the ground, wrestle this out.
Yeah.
My grandfather had this piece of property like out back of his house was like this hill, and then it went down to a clearing, and there was these kids that just kept riding their dirt bikes down there and just used to drive them nuts. And my grandfather was this mean old man, and one day I was over there, he heard the dirt bikes, and he's like, God damn it, come with me. So he gives me a 45, and he gets his 357. We're going to go down there and talk to these kids riding dirt bikes. I say kids are probably like 20, 22, something like that. And I'm 15. I'm 15 fucking years old. He's like, "Just shove that in your waistband. Don't pull it unless you have to." I'm like, I'm 15. Like, I'm not going to know when to pull it. Right? So we go down there. And again, these guys are probably early 20s, and there's probably like half a dozen of them like ripping up his property with their dirt bikes and stuff. He's, "Hey, you assholes, get out of here with your dirt bikes." And like the lead shithead goes, "Fuck you, old man. You can't tell us what to do." And he pulls out his 357. He puts like a bullet right in the engine block of one of the dirt bikes. And he just goes, 10, 9, 8. And then like they all disappear. And again, I'm 15. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this isn't 1942 Kentucky, Grandpa. You just can't do shit like this,
Oh my God. Yeah.
This is not the way we, like, we're not even like in the country. We're like in the suburbs. He's doing this shit.
It's his country, damn it.
Right.
All right, let's go get some chicken.
Yeah.
I think we did have fried chicken and spaghetti that night, to be honest.
Fried chicken and spaghetti?
That's just something my grandmother did. She did fried chicken and spaghetti.
That's somewhat common. I've heard a lot of
Really?
people say that, especially in the Midwest, where
Yeah.
it's like, "Hey, we're having fried chicken and spaghetti tonight."
Dude, I
Okay.
have been a Midwest
know.
guy.
I don't know where it came from or what it is, but you're not the first person that's brought that up as a combination. Now it's a lethal combination. It's fantastic.
You ain't
Yeah.
doing
But
anything after that. I can tell you that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, I've
you're
grown up in the Midwest my whole life and never
going into a
once,
food coma after that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
never once have I been to a chicken and spaghetti dinner. And
Well,
Yeah.
it's like a home thing. I don't necessarily know.
never once did my mom say, make sure you're home by the time lights get off. I'm making chicken and spaghetti. And I'd be like, what?
I think it was just more if you got like a lot of kids coming to a party, like we did it for
Yeah.
like 4th of July and like,
Mhm.
family get-togethers. Like you'd had a pot of spaghetti and the kids usually ate the spaghetti. And
Yeah.
then the grown folks had fried chicken. But, when you're a teenager, you're like halfway in between. Like,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, I don't know which way I'm swinging today, so I'm going to go ahead and get
Let
both.
me get a couple of these legs and some meatballs and I'll be on my
Yeah.
way.
Give me some
That's-
breasts and some noodles there, woman.
Yeah, right. Brad, I gotta bring this up to you just because we talked about this gun. I don't know if you have any insider information that I don't know about yet, but
I don't know.
KUSA is dead and never coming back, right?
Correct.
How do you feel about that?
It sucks because they had the best core parts in America. All the core parts, all the American companies have something wrong with them. They're either not, when I say something, I'm talking like all the way back to their their tactical data packages, the actual shit that they use to make them.
Right.
Except KUSA, theirs was perfect. I don't know how they pulled that off. I don't know if they like did some espionage on like a Russian 101 or something, but theirs was perfect. So it's really sad to see a company that had perfect core parts go under because of poor business decisions. It just really is. It just makes you sad when a company that's making good guns goes out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say what you want about them, but at least they had good guns. They made a lot of questionable decisions.
Right.
Making a retired porn actress their spokesman and
Oh yeah.
mystery guns and the track suits. Like you could buy this gun, but you're getting a tracksuit with it. Like I don't want a tracksuit.
Yeah, it started getting
just
real
want the gun.
questionable when they had the mystery boxes. They're
Mystery
like,
box,
send us $1,000 and you could get one of these guns. And then like everybody's like, it was a shotgun. I got a shotgun. I got a shotgun. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, nobody, and then like once I think it was that $1,500 5.56 with the pay us now and you'll get it in 10 weeks. I was like, what the fuck is
No,
that?
I
I was
fell
like,
for that.
what is that?
I fell for that with Mack and Hill Gunworks, I think it was.
The STG 44.
Yeah, I pre-ordered one of those, and
I too really wanted that to be a thing.
I wanted it so much I pre-ordered for it.
Yeah, I didn't want it that bad. I also didn't have any money, but then I saw it was picked up by
You
PSA. Hey, yeah, that's me. Then I saw it was picked up by PSA, and I thought that there's finally probably going to be some money behind it because I think that was his big issue. But then they've killed it, and to me, like the more that I look at it, the more it's like, yeah, I don't think, because even the original STG 44, I feel like the life cycle of those firearms was not anything impressive. I mean, especially at that point in the war, and now you're trying to shove it into something that it was never actually designed to do. I think, listen, we're all dreamers here, or at least I am. And I think it's fine to, dream and want these things to happen, but at some point real has to become real. And I think that just kind of happened with those.
Yeah,
You know what?
there's a lot of that going on right now, like the Bisons, 9mm Bisons.
Yeah.
Like I don't see that like taking off. I just don't. I think that's somebody's dream. Like they want it to take off real bad. And there's probably like a cult following of dudes that will get behind that. But at the end of the day, if you get it off the ground, how many people are actually going to buy one?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
I got hit with the hard reality of the KUSA stuff last weekend. I don't know if you know this, but I work as a weekend shop rat at Krebs Customs. Every other
Cool.
weekend I'm there. And Mark hit me with like the hard reality of KUSA, like a father telling you that your favorite sports figure got, cut from the team and he got arrested over the weekend and they found a hooker in his trunk and he's never going to play ball again. Because
Will he though?
Yeah. No, Mark was, I just said something about, I was like, man, I just need to find another 103. I was like, I want to get another one. I was like, hopefully things work out and KUSA happens again. He's like, all
Yeah.
that stuff is being sold into parts to different companies and it's never all going to be in the same place again. And I was like, damn it, Mark, why'd you just do that? I was like, I had hopes. I was like, and you just crushed it now. You just totally crushed it.
Yeah, I think somebody bought like whatever parts they had laying around. Somebody else bought the machines.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He's like, all the machines, all the parts. He's like, it's all going to different places and it's never going to be in the same warehouse. And I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, the only thing they got left is the data packs, I think. This is just a rumor I heard. I don't know how true it is, so don't take this as gospel. But my understanding is all they got left is the data packs, which is the most valuable because, like I said, the data packs, you can just take those data packs and you can make your own core parts pretty easily.
Mhm.
And they're hanging on to that, but they'll only sell it if somebody's willing to take on their debt.
Yeah.
So well, we'll give you the intellectual property rights, but
it's going to cost you debt.
You got to take on a couple $1 million in our debt.
Yeah. I need to win the lottery like fast.
So you're sunk before you even start out.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like nobody's going to want to do that. Like,
it sucks. So KUSA's dead, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you've known this, but it's official.
That's what's funny is I still get people asking me, what do you think about KUSA? I think they're out of business.
Yeah, I see it all the time.
There's a lot of their rifles that are still hanging around on gun store walls, though.
Dude, I'm not going to say where because I'm still having hopes that I might be able to snag this. Somebody is selling one right now with like a bunch of magazines, that KUSA red dot that came with it, and they want $800. And they claim they've only shot like 500 rounds through it tops. And I'm like, fuck, I want to grab that so bad.
Go get it right now.
And dude, they've been trying to sell it in this.
It's like that meme of
yeah, right. But they've been trying to sell it, dude, and like they're like, this is the final price drop, and I'm firm. I'm like, why the fuck has nobody bought that yet? Because
don't ask why, just go buy it,
dude. I'm talking myself out of it every time I see it because it's always still posted, and I'm like, what is going on?
That's what's weird is like Euro Optic is like right down the way from me.
Oh, I love Euro Optic.
Yeah,
They're fantastic.
They have a great storefront, and they were a KUSA dealer. And like the day after that they announced KUSA's Kaputski, I went up there just to see if the prices are going to fluctuate because they were selling theirs for like $1,400-$1,500, something like that, and they're all gone. And I asked the dude that works the counter, like, what happened to your AKs? He's like, oh, we had to send them back. I was like, okay, like I don't know why. Yeah, exactly.
Was it one of those weird things where it was not like consignment, but it's like, hey, you hang them, and then like once they're sold, like then you get something, and then there's like
it's consignment
weird thing. No, but there's a different. It's like
it's consignment.
when it's a company that does it for another company or something like that, it's different, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know the details. I just went in there just probably like a day or two after they announced that they were Kaputski. And I went in there just to see if the price were fluctuating. They're all gone. I'm not talking to like anybody in charge. I'm talking to some guy just working the counter. Like, hey, what happened to your KUSA guns? He's like, oh, we had to send those back. I was like, really?
Yeah, I think Mark still has a few of them. I know I see like on Reddit and Facebook every now and then somebody will be like, oh, my local gun store had this and I got it for $1,200, and like so they're still out there floating around. I don't know. I thought the prices were gonna like go up, like once they closed down, but then like nobody liked them, so it's not like it was something of high value that closed down.
Oh, again, there's just too much bad press. There's too many people out there.
Oh, it's terrible.
They're dog shit because they saw a picture of a bad rivet.
Yeah,
I say this all the time. The only thing you can't fix on an AK, a Kalashnikov, is the core part. You can fix bad rivets. You can fix a bad barrel. You could fix anything on that gun except for a bad bolt and a bad trunnion. So they had the best bolts and the best trunnions. I can fix anything else on that damn gun. Like,
yeah,
give it to me. Put them back on the market. I want guns with good core parts. Like, please.
Yeah. Is there speaking of good core parts, there's a Wasser 10 and there's a Wasser 1063. Right.
Okay.
Now the 1063, wasn't that made from like surplus like parts that they had from building actual like good rifles, and then the 10 is just like, hey, we're just gonna build these things and sell them as civilian ones? Is it something like that?
I could be wrong, and somebody's going to correct me, I'm sure.
I'm
But
sure I was just wrong.
I believe the 63s are surplus parts. Like
Yeah.
the Soviet Union went out of business, and this is our remaining stock. I think the non 63s is just we're making new parts.
Right.
Which is
Okay,
fine.
that's what I thought. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
almost right. I was almost
I
right.
mean, it's if I understand it correctly, and I could be wrong, it's just they're new parts made in the same factory as the surplus stuff. So
Okay. Yeah, because I have the 1063, and then I have that shitty underfolder
that
that's a
thing is
10.
garbage.
Dude, but it looks so sweet. I should have hung
Yeah,
it on the wall.
it's
But
a
I
vibe.
hung, yeah, I
Dude.
hung like the bases, like get one, because when I first got into AKs, it was get a Wasser, get a Wasser, get a Wasser, and
Yeah.
then the only
That's
reason
what
I
I tell
got into
people.
AKs is because I won a what did I win? I won a Sam 7,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, is this a good one? And they were like, you won that, and I was like, yeah, and they're like,
No.
"Well, you don't like them?
Sorry. Not
Oh
good.
man, I like it.
It's milled gun, which
There we go.
yeah, that's it. That's somebody took that picture and they put the Nike swoosh in and said just do it. And that's how they were selling the Romanian builds. And I was like, I need one now.
Yeah, dude, you need more
let's
guns.
we'll bask in this for a moment while we talk about how much we hate the underfolder.
Dude,
I just like the people in the background there, just like watching, like, is he going to get shot?
Well,
hey everybody, Cliff's going to do something stupid,
so there's more photos to this. They're in an active firefight. Like this guy that's down here in the corner, they're chasing down like Romanian Soviet officials who are shooting back at them, and everybody's just like, hey, what's going on over here?
Hey, that dude's wearing Levi's, all right? He's obviously already a criminal. Those get smuggled in.
The president was held up in the building with like his most loyal soldiers, and these guys were just trying to like oust him. So this is an active firefight, and these guys in the background are just kind of like spectators. It kind of
nothing else was going on that day, in town. So
I do love that this gentleman is still wearing his grandfather's coat.
Oh hell yeah!
This one has been passed down from generation to generation. His grandfather was 6'3", and unfortunately, this gentleman is 5'5". So it's a little big on him, but he'll probably grow into it.
I'm a short king. We don't need to go there. Like
high five to the short kings.
Hey, short for speed, wide for traction. That's what we've got going on right now.
Oh, geez. That's a sweet picture, though. That's like something I should hang on the wall.
It's definitely...
Like, sell me that as a poster. I'll buy it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's definitely one of, if you think of like famous AK pictures that are out there, it's one of the top where if you just like I just Googled underfolder AK, and this was like, scroll down a little bit. It's definitely one of the top ones that's around.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at my list. I'm sorry. I wrote down things. Now, okay, this one will be quick. Zastava. All right, we're done with that. Next. Serbs. Magazines. Like what's your go-to magazine? Like if you had a plethora, like an entire table of 7.62 magazines in front of you right now, which one do you pick up?
I don't know. I've got lots of everything. I've got bakes. Bakes work. I don't think they work any better than like the Comblock steel ones. Comblock steel ones, they work. I have the Bulgarian commercial mags. They work.
Yeah.
So all I want is just it to work. I don't need it to be a vibe. I don't need it to be fancy or expensive. I just want them to work. If it doesn't work, I throw it away.
I'm with you on that. I think like my top two would be like surplus steel and Bakelights. I've never had an issue with a Bakelite.
Well, the nice thing about bakes is they're lighter. So if you have like eight surplus steel mags, that shit's as heavy.
Oh yeah.
If you've got 8 Bakelights, it's not as heavy.
Now see, I've got a couple of them aluminum waffle mags.
That's one thing I really like about the Bulgarian commercial ones, the new ones, because they're lighter than bakes and they still work pretty good, and they cost like $12.
Yeah,
excellent.
I've got a few of those too.
Yeah,
but like I've got a couple of those waffle mags, the aluminum ones, not the Circle 10s, and those are stupid light. Okay,
Oh,
like
yeah.
my wallet weighs like as much as 10 of those things.
I broke
Alright.
one though, so like
Well,
I did
the
a
ones-
nosedive in my chest rig, and that was like right on top there. And
ugh,
put a nice little dent in. And it's like
in your chest or in the magazine.
both. Like
Oh,
I legitimately knocked the wind out of myself.
can
I was
feel
like,
that.
"Ooh."
Steel lug polymer reinforced, $12.99 at
Yeah.
a mag warehouse.
Yeah. And these Bulgarian ones, they've got a bunch of different varieties that are out here.
I've got all of those. I've got the 5.56. I've got the 5.45s. I got the 7.62 by 39. I've yet to have a problem with them.
Mhm.
Nice. I actually ran those for like
I've had
a
a
year.
couple of those 40 rounders. I've had a couple of those. They work, and they are less than $15.
I don't have one of those yet. Me and Paul went in on a box of AC Unity 40 rounders for a handshake and a hot dog is what I think he paid for them.
I paid less than $4 a piece for those.
The AC Unity 5.56 ones, I bought a bunch of those like right around 2021, and they broke. They all split.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, they all split. Like
Really?
Yeah, they were the clear ones. Every single one of them split right down the middle. Now I had black ones that they worked fine, no problems, but for some reason the clear ones split. So I don't know what was
Really?
going on with those, but I got rid of all. I got all my AC Unity mags just because of that.
I love my AC Unity 5.56 mags, and
Oh,
I
I'm
ran.
not- yeah, like if you've had, like I said, the black ones I had.
Yeah.
Once you go black, you never go back, right? Like the black
Whoa.
ones I had were excellent, but the clear ones just cracked right
Say,
open.
I ran that clear one. I had one of those in Winter KCON, and it was like a high of 12, and I was very terrified that something was going to happen to it that day.
So, not to get too deep into the weeds of polymer construction, but when you're, and this goes for all clear polymers, including those new T mags that Magpul came out with. You're not, if they're perfectly translucent or somewhat translucent, there's like a binding agent that they're not adding in to allow that translucency to happen.
Right.
And by adding it
Work
in
molding, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
that's why all my Circle 10s are cracked.
Well,
because they're clear, like clear.
Well, they're not reinforced either,
Yeah.
Well, they don't have the reinforcements in them.
It's like those US Palm clear ones. Like you drop those slightly at an angle and they shatter all over the place.
Paul,
those are garbage.
We only talk about US Palm grips on this podcast. We don't bring up the magazines.
I've got a full setup of US Palms before they were bought by Century. Like I've been in the game long enough to where I've got 8 US Palm back in the day. I've yet to have a problem with.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got a couple. I had a couple of them, and they ran like shit, and they're just wide. And I was like, I can't.
Well,
do
that's
it with these things.
that's the new ones.
Yeah,
They've cheaped out. Century's really cheaped out, in my opinion.
Not
on
Century.
Out? I don't buy that.
Yeah, Century don't cheap out.
Hey, this is I hate.
We're talking
to be
the flagship company
here. Good quality stuff.
Yeah, that's what Century stands for. It's gonna last for a century. That's why they call it Century.
It's gonna last for 100 days.
Yeah, if you're lucky. If you don't use it.
Yeah, if you never use the mags or load them with any amount of rounds.
I walked by a US Palm mag with a snow cone, and that thing cracked. That's how good they are.
I always say this: we're in the golden age of mags right now. Like you can literally find
for
quality
5.56
mags
especially.
like anywhere that you go. For ARs, like Gen 3 P mags are bulletproof, and they're also incredibly cheap.
They give them out at places like, oh, the gun store grand opening. Everybody walks in and gets a P mag, and you're like, oh,
I remember Magpul. Like I think this was when Sandy Hook happened.
I remember when they were handing them out.
Handing them out. They're like on the street, like, hey.
I think that's because that state was trying to make them illegal.
Yeah,
I think they were trying to ban 30 rounders, and Magpul showed up with pallets and was like, "Fuck that! Here, take them now.
Take them all."
I mean, high five to Magpul for that. That's that's a business for the people.
I was
always wanted, I always wanted this, like when they were talking about like the 80%, like banning the 80%. I just wanted to like get like 1,000 80% lowers and just make them, and then just like salt and pepper them everywhere. Just like
geocaching.
Just like drive around LA, just like throw them out the window. Here you go. Let's see what happens. Let's see how bad this can get.
While wearing gloves, I'd toss those out while wearing gloves. I'm not putting my prints on those.
I was shooting at a public range, and I was running kind of an older surplus style, like Stanag, one of my ARs, and it just kept diving, and there was a problem with the feed lips. It was an old mag, you know, like some of them, especially if they kind of have like those rivets that are going up the spine.
Yep.
They're disposable items. Like they're not supposed to last forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm not of the idea where it's like, oh, this mag isn't good, so I'm just going to make it a range mag. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm not going to fight it. Exactly.
Throw it
So
away.
they've got garbage cans over there, and I always walk around with a paint pencil. So I just wrote bad on it, and I threw it away. And I went back to that same public range the next weekend. And over on the other side of the range, there was a kid who was having a problem with his rifle. And it just kept double feeding. And he was getting like bolt overrides and just like a crazy amount of issues. And I walk over, it's that mag. It has bad written on the side of it. He went into the trash to pick it out. And I was just like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, well, you know, this is a pretty cool mag. And I was like, no, there's a reason why it's just bad written on it.
Because it's badass.
Yeah. So then I took it and I threw it into the woods out behind it. And I was like, nobody go after this.
Before we get too crazy.
What I usually do is if I recognize I have a bad mag, I usually put it on the table and I butt stroke it with my rifle and just destroy it so that it's clear to everybody. This is not to be messed with.
Yeah. There's no reason.
I ran into that a lot in the Marines in like Iraq and stuff. Like we'd turn in bad magazines, we'd write bad on them, and they'd make their way back into circulation somewhere else. So, you know, we're turning them in like we're supposed to, like this is bad, it doesn't work. And then somehow they make their way back into circulation. So somebody else is getting a bad mag in combat. So we just got in the habit of, you got a bad magazine, you destroy it. So that there's like no question, nobody can use this thing.
I remember at the KCON years ago, Paul, I think it was the one I met you at. I was on the squad with Mario, and he threw
Mario.
This is exactly what happened. I'm walking behind Mario, and he throws a mag in the garbage. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's broke, bro." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's a Circle 10." He's like, "Bro, it's trash, bro." And I was like, "No way!" And I looked at it, and it looked like it was pretty fucked up. So I just took a picture of it, and I was like, "This is what people, you know, hardcore people do. We just throw Circle 10s in the trash and walk away." But I couldn't believe it. It was a Circle 10 mag, and it just blew my mind. And ever since then, I've raised eyebrows at Circle 10 mags. I'm like, I see Mario break one. They're not that good.
I had a Florida Lee mag, like a Croatian Florida Lee mag. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they have it's almost like I'll pull up a picture of one here while we're talking.
So it's like stamped into the side of the magazine. They're like really, really rare. I had one. Yeah. It didn't work. So I put it on Gunbroker, disassembled with words, does not work in like all caps. And there was like a bidding war for this goddamn thing. I was like, why are you guys I started off at like I think $20 or something like that. Just like I'll get what I get just to recoup some money. And it's like there's like those bad boys right there.
Yeah.
So it was like a bidding war for it just because it's a vibe. It's like,
oh yeah. It doesn't have to work as long as it can take a picture.
Yeah, as long as, oh my god, I hate that. I hate that so much. That who was telling me the story? I can't remember who was telling me the story, but they owned a shop and they built like a rifle for somebody with like all the bells and whistles, like the sure shot rail system, the whole nine. And the guy took like a bunch of pictures for like Instagram, and then he immediately took it to like a pawn shop.
Who was that? Somebody was on our podcast was talking about that.
I don't remember.
Something Neil talked about?
I think
this wasn't Neil's outfit. I can't remember who the hell it was.
I've heard that story before. Somebody brought that up to us before. I can't remember who the hell we were talking to.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's people like that. It's just for the drip, just for the gram.
Yeah, like he said, the way this guy told it was like the guy took pictures, took it to the pawn shop, and like the pawn shop guy like called him like, "Hey, this guy's like trying to sell a rifle you built. Did you build this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did. Why the fuck is he selling it?"
That's ridiculous.
Man, got all the content he wanted out of it, and
the likes were flowing through, and now he wanted his money back.
I know this is gonna do numbies, but we're gonna stop there. So up on the screen right now, we've got, I don't know where this is from. This is a couple-year-old picture, but
that's old Bakelite Road out in Poland somewhere.
Probably
take a left down Bakelite Road.
Yeah, yeah. This is what they're using for pavers right now in Poland.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, this is probably what, $50 million worth of Bakelite mags that's being driven over
In this
here.
market, yeah.
You better
Yeah.
adjust for inflation there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
55 million then. Sorry, but I mean, this is just an example too of like, I understand that some mags are collectible, but they're also like consumable items.
Yeah.
Like that's just the nature of what they are. And like you should be listen, you're all beautiful people. If you're listening to this podcast, you're smart, wonderful. Like you should be running quality mags. If you spend a lot of money on a firearm and like putting shitty mags into it is not going to give you a better result.
No. I don't care what the vibe is. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
No, like those. I know that right now we're in the midst of kind of this third carry handle revolution or whatever it is, where everybody's trying to run retro ARs. Which, listen, I'm guilty of it, but like, hey, let's go run some Colt straight 20 rounders. Okay, they haven't made those in forever. I mean, they're hogged out. That's a hot dog down a hallway situation right there.
Yeah,
like,
I have like 2 of them, and they don't work for shit.
No. And though, if you really want to consider it, like those really were meant to be disposable. Those were like those were single use. Get rid of them. And like, hey, now we're gonna go hunt for these. Now they're $100 at gun shows. Take your picture with them, then throw in an actual quality mag if you're gonna go out and run it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry, I got a
Yeah, go
PSA
ahead.
here, a personal service announcement. If anybody listening or watching happen to have a pressure pad for a Purse 4 Zenico laser, hit up your boy.
I might.
'Cause,
I might.
No, I'm being serious because this
I'm
is my
being
dilemma.
I'm also serious.
Too.
I
might have one.
I bought the laser. Some guy had a laser on Reddit. He shook me down for 2025 prices. I was like, whatever, dude. I'm building a KP9 for night vision. I need it. All right. And then somebody else on TaxSwap had the pressure pad. And I was like, and I had my guy Jeff be the middleman because I don't have a TaxSwap account. I was like, Jeff, beat this guy down on the price. Tell me what he says. And I brought the switch and the pad, or the laser and the pad came in the mail today, and it's 2 female connections. Like my laser has a female connection and the damn pad's a female connection. And I'm sitting there in my room like this.
This doesn't work.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on, man? And that's what that guy on Reddit, I was waiting for him to.
This don't work. Yeah.
The guy on Reddit, I was waiting for him to get back to me, and he just sent me a message a while ago. Sorry, amigo. I don't have one. And I'm like, son of a bitch, man.
I'll do some searching. I might have one. I had a couple Purse 4s at one point. So
yeah, that thing it's awesome.
One thing I loved about the Purse is they came in that like can. Did you get the can?
Yeah. No, I didn't get the can.
You didn't get the can? That's like
no.
Oh man, that's amazing.
I know.
I got my first one. I was like, what is this? I was expecting like snakes to pop out or something, like
yeah, that's the guy selling it was like, all I have is the laser. No, I don't have the can. I was like, fuck. He's like, it's in a storage unit.
You're not a real AK aficionado until you had to deal with like Ivan. Have you ever had to deal with Ivan?
Dude, I tried to, and it was right when shit started getting crazy, and everybody was like, I don't know, man, stuff's not going through. I was like, well, I'm not sending this fucking guy any money.
He's got this crazy plan now. Like, if you want to buy his stuff, he'll ship it to like Georgia.
Yeah.
And then ship it to you. It costs like an extra $150. I was like, Ivan, I love you. You've helped me out, but fuck you. I'm not giving you another $150. And literally what he says I can't remember how he words it. He's like, you just have to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard of how he's doing it now, and I've thought about it. And I was seriously considering it today, but I don't think even he had the pad. And I was
I'm trying to remember how Ivan phrased it in his website. It was like, you could do this, but you have to be cool. I was like, Ivan, dude, like,
yeah, that was when stuff started getting real crazy with like, do you have a Bitcoin account? And I was like, what? And they're like, I can get you these Delta Techs, but you have to have a Bitcoin account. I was like, all right, now shit's getting fishy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the one that recommends, like, if you buy anything from Russia, it's fine from me, but if you buy anything from Russia, get a burner card, get like a prepaid Visa.
Oh yeah.
That way, your stuff's not stolen, this and that. And like, God, I kind of don't want to deal with you now. You sound.
Yeah.
But he's always been a solid dude. He's always came through. Like, I've bought stuff from him probably like 8-9 years now, and he's always come through, and he's always answered emails. He's always been a pretty good dude. He used to send these magnets. I still have one on my fridge where he's got like cats, like cartoon cats, and all his magnets. And the first one I got from him was like 2 like Russian Navy cats, like with their arm over each other, and it says "Gay Navy Cats" on it. It's like, like I just gave this guy like $600 for a purse 4, and he sent me a magnet that says "Gay Navy Cats" on it. I'm like, what?
Hey, at least you got something, you know. Some
What
people
the
just
hell
send
am I
you the
giving
product
you?
and
Like,
nothing.
Yeah,
Not even a sticker. Come on, but you got Gay Navy Cats, dude. That's
Gay Navy Cats.
you know what? That's probably worth something now. You could probably put that on Comblock Market or something. Be like, I got the Gay Navy Cats magnet.
I
People
got
are like, oh my god, I haven't seen these in
Oh
years.
my god, I haven't. I'll give you $100 for that.
Yeah.
I've got the Timu Purse 4 from like
Oh,
the
nice.
Gear or something like that. I used to blind local children and then do back alley astigmatism
There you go.
tests on people. It honestly, it is so powerful that it blew. Like I looked at it under one of my buddies' night vision, and it was doing the like ghosting effect
Yeah.
throughout
yeah.
there, which is like it's overpowered.
Yeah,
for
I was
what it
looking. I
is.
was doing that before we started this in my garage, because you know it's the only place I can mess with my night vision where there's no windows, nothing. Everything's pitch dark, and I'm out here messing with it. But like as soon as I even got it in the mail, I'm in the kitchen messing with it, and I'm like, this is just on laser, and I can see the laser, and I was like, this is insane. And then like I showed the wife, I was like, look at this. She's like, I can see it. I was like, yeah, I don't think anything made in the U.S. you can do that. I
Yeah,
was like, this.
what is it, class 3?
Yeah,
really
it's
not supposed to be owning
yeah,
that.
like
Yeah.
my kid, I was showing it to my kid, and he like put his hand, but I was like, don't put your hand in front of it. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
That'll give you cancer.
Yeah, right. Now you look like Rocky Dennis. I told you not to put your hand in front of that thing.
That's gonna make you gay. Don't touch it.
Yeah, now you're in
Don't
the
touch
Navy.
Gay lasers.
Oh man, but yeah,
I
if
gotta
anybody's
gotta tell the story real quick because this is one of my favorite stories from the Marine Corps. When we got the PEC 2s. All right, so this would have been 2002, and they gave us. We had M16 A2s, no rails, no nothing, just like slick, and they gave us this little black box like this, and they said it's a PEC 2. Like, what is it? I don't know, but it's serialized. Don't lose it. Okay, so we just take them and we put them in our NVG bags for like months. We take them out of the armory, put them in our NVG bags, hand them back in. So we did this for like months, right? And we had a sergeant who went to Ranger School. He was a Marine that got a Ranger School spot, which was like pretty like a big deal, right? So he came back from working with the Army for like, 3 months, whatever it was, Ranger School was. He goes, oh, cool, you guys got PEC 2s. He's like, what's that? Like, what does this thing do? We've been carrying it around for months. We have no idea what this is. It's an infrared laser. Like, a what? Infrared laser. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no laser coming out of this thing. Because I'm expecting. You say laser, I'm expecting like I'm expecting like Terminator, like the red.
Yeah, right.
Red
The
beams.
beam.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no laser coming out of this, Sergeant. Like, you're full of shit. He's like, all right, idiots, turn the lights out, get your NVGs. And he flashed, he turned it on like, whoa, there is a laser. This is what? No way. But we didn't have the mounts. We didn't have that mount yet.
Yeah.
So we got that mount like 3 weeks before we deployed to Iraq. And so like we're like trying to figure out how to work these lasers like in Iraq. Like we're like in Kuwait staging, ready to go. We're trying to figure out how to work these goddamn things.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just like that was just the way it was back in the day. We had no money, like no idea how any of this like fancy shit worked. It was just so funny. It's like we were like monkeys looking at fire for the first time. Like, whoa, it's a fucking laser. How do we get it on our gun? Do we just like duct tape it?
Yeah, right.
And he's looking at us like,
Zip
no,
ties.
you don't. No, you don't just duct tape it. You need a mount. Like, where's the mount? Like, you don't have them, idiot. Like,
You have the laser.
we have the laser, but not the mount. It's like, well, it's not a problem. We'll just duct tape it on. It's fine. Go.
So I've got a question that I've actually been kind of saving in the can here because the Delta 34 blind battle competition.
The BBC.
Yes, I stumbled onto their YouTube account late one night a couple months ago, and I can't stop watching their footage of the competition.
Yeah.
It is like no other competition that I've ever seen. And from one of your videos from a couple of months ago, number one, it looks like you're going to be running it. Number two, it looks like you were thinking about running a pretty hot rifle in it. Did you end up running it? kind of what's the story of what's going on there?
It's actually coming up not this weekend, the following weekend. So I think it's May 2nd. He's selling tickets. So initially he just wanted this one just to be like YouTube people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, he just wanted to get like a bunch of content creators, get them together and just run it and see what they think of it. But he couldn't get as many as he wanted, so he started selling tickets to it. So there might still be tickets if anybody's interested in going, but it's coming up in May, and I'm running a 5.45 gun that with Ukrainian stuff on it. So I kind of, when he talked to me about this, I was really interested in doing it, but I wanted to do a 5.45 gun with as much Ukrainian stuff as I could. That's an awesome picture of me. Yeah, look at
Hold on. Let me see if I can move it forward.
Got my cock holster hanging open. Look at that thing.
If anybody hasn't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and check that out if you want to see this beautiful picture.
Oh, that's a little bit better. But yeah, so I got that's a Ukrainian dust cover mount from Military Equipment, and I can never say it right. I think it's like KRYP.
KPYK?
Yeah, there you go. Stock. That's a drop-in stock. So if you got like a fixed stock, you could drop that in, and you've got adjustable comb.
I've got one of those. I love that stock.
The only thing I don't like is when I go to do mag changes, it catches on my shirt
with the rubber.
Yeah. Well, the rubber, and there's like that little piece,
that little hook on the top.
Yeah, it always catches. So like when I do mag changes, I got to push out and then tuck.
Yeah, I had to figure that one out. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like it's a swing move there.
Right. And like when I wore a hoodie, like a Under Armour hoodie, like the other day, just do mag changes, and the crow foot was getting stuck in my hoodie pocket.
Yeah, I remember. I saw that.
I like push out and I tuck it, and then it's like stuck in my hoodie. I'm like, son of a bitch! Now I can't wear hoodies. So I like it. I like the adjustable length to pull. I like the adjustable comb because I get good cheek well with the ACOG there, but just that reload thing just irks me. And then I got it set up if I want to use a suppressor, which I probably won't, just because 5.45 is really unstable in flight as it leaves the barrel. So the last thing you want is a fishtailing round coming out of your $1,000 suppressor.
So, and also just for a little bit of context here, I don't match itself is kind of a combination of individual stages, run and gun, but it's all completely blind, correct?
You have no idea what you're getting into until you start it.
Okay.
So they say go, you run to like literally there's a card that tells you the deal. Like, you know, you're going to go from point A to point B, engage these targets, and then that's it. And then you got like an RO running with you to make sure you're safe. That's about it.
Sounds intense.
That's kind of what attracted me to it, because I don't run competitions. I haven't done competition stuff since I, lived next to the Olin Winchester factory. So one thing I notice is like, and I'm not talking ill of people that do competitions, but it's just kind of, you're just trying to see who can do it the fastest. And that's great. You're racing, but I like something that you got to think your way through. So this is more of a think your way through situation. And I find that more attractive just because that's more closer to what you find in combat is, you don't know what's coming at you.
Right.
You just got to, know your weapon, know your holds, and just do the best you can.
I think that, and just based on the video breakdown, there's a couple that are out here that's on the Delta 34 YouTube channel.
He's got great content.
He does.
If you want to know something about a product, he has great content. Like, I don't know why more people don't, subscribe to him and like reference his videos and stuff, but it's excellent content.
Well, and this I think is a great example too, kind of the name that we came up with here, shooter, are you ready? Because then it's like the beep goes off and whatever plan that you had in your mind for the stage just kind of immediately leaves. And it's really interesting to see the breakdown that some of the folks have in this video, not like emotional or mental breakdown, but it is like, okay, you kind of have to work your way through a shoot house and you're reading out a card and it says everybody that has a yellow shirt on is this, everybody who has a red shirt on is this, everybody who has a blue shirt on is this. And like you don't know where the targets are going to be at in this array. So they turn a corner, and there are some instances where people will literally, you can see in the video, they will lock eyes with the target that has a yellow shirt on, where that is considered a target based on the array sheet that they have. And then they lock eyes on it, and then they just completely move past it because of, you know, just whatever. They're thinking about something else. Hey, what's going on around this next corner? They forgot what color that they should have initially gone to. But I really like the idea of blind stages.
I love a blind
period,
stage.
just because, like you said, Brad, you have to think a little bit more, like when you enter it. And I think that it's not just thinking about, okay, what did I plan? But now it is like, okay, now you have to plan and think, act quickly because you're on the clock.
Thinking, not shooting.
Yep. There was actually a great stage at the last Winter KCON where there were 4 targets that were set up on either side of the bay that were facing away from you, and they had pictures of different things and words on them. And then as you picked up these wooden blocks kind of at the start table, it would have a word or a picture on it, and then you would have to run and remember where these pictures were at, because there was a wide variety of where they were. And then once you had placed that in the correct bucket, then you would have to run and engage some targets. But it was like you got 20 seconds to kind of plan out, okay, this is where things are at, but you can draw them in any order. And it was incredibly challenging. I don't think anybody got close to finishing. But
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah. And it was definitely a humbling experience where it was kind of a game of, I was about to say Remember Who, but that's not a game name. But it was like
Guess Who.
Yeah, but it was even harder than Guess Who, because Guess Who you can be
Dude, that game used to stump me.
Slightly mean at. But it was just another example of like, hey, let's throw another wrench in here and see how good you really are.
Yeah, I love a thinking stage. Walking around a stage and just seeing, okay, target. I'm gonna move from here to here, and I can see all these. I like you're not walking through, you're not looking at shit. And when you go through there, there's gonna be, targets with googly eyes, and those are the ones you shoot. And then like you're busy laughing, when you see the ones with the googly eyes, and you kind of, like you said, you just run past it and you're like, shit, was I supposed to shoot the googly eyed one or not shoot the googly eyed one? I love shit like that. I love making you think while you shoot instead of just run and shoot.
Well,
to me, it makes it more fun.
One thing that he's emphasizing is he just wants to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So like the example that he gives is like when he did the first one, guys were showing up, with just red dots, no magnification. And everybody that showed up with a red dot on the first one showed up with something with magnification the second one, because they figured out real quick that, trying to hit something obscured behind a bush at, 200 yards with just a red dot sucks.
Yeah.
And the other thing he points out is like guys that showed up with like open top mags, like you'd see in a traditional like a 2-gun match or something, they were losing their shit left and right. So they showed up the next time with something with flaps on it. So it's just stuff like that I think is really interesting. It's easy to get stuff that's quick and, awesome on a flat range, but when you have to run around through the woods and dive and take cover and, go into prone, it just changes the dynamic a little bit. And that's a little bit closer to what you want.
Yeah.
Is stuff that works in all types of terrain, all types of scenario. He's got a video where one guy lost his pistol.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like the guy had like a open top pistol, open top holster with no secondary retention. And like, it just fell out like in the middle of the stage. And he's like, well, I guess I'll just pick this up for this guy later.
I think that's actually later on in this video, because
Probably,
I think, because this one is combined here. So this is exactly what you were showing, where same guy on the left has a red dot with the 3x magnifier. And then on the right, he's got an LPVO shooting essentially the same stage. And like LPVO finished 30 seconds ahead, 40 seconds ahead comparatively. And I think that is a good way to demonstrate it. And also putting people into, here they all are slipping and falling, going through a trench, putting people into positions that you wouldn't think to put yourself in while you're, on a flat range with your buddies, or even if you can do a little bit more dynamic movement. here's where there's contextual information about where you're going to be shooting through here, and do people look at that? I just really think that this is very interesting. Honestly, I'm happy that you're shooting it because I can't wait for the
Yeah, it's gonna
video
be
that you
awesome.
put out on it.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to do well. I mean, I haven't done any kind of competition in a while. I just want to show up, do the best I can, and just see if I can, finish with a respectable time.
I'm excited to see you do it and see clips of it, and then I think that will entice me to sign up for it next time.
Yeah, I mean,
because it looks pretty bad. Paul, you sent me clips from this a while ago, and I was like, oh man, this is a challenge. I was like, I kind of like this.
Yeah, they're a good group of guys. Like I met D34 through Focus Trip. Like we just happened to be bullshitting together in like one of his live streams or something like that, and we started talking, and we see eye to eye on a lot of things, and a lot of the people that he knows, I see eye to eye with them. So there's another guy that he's in Eastern Ohio hotel. Was it Whiskey Hotel? I think he calls himself, and he does this sort of stuff on the regular basis on a smaller scale. Like he'll have like spool set up. Like
there goes the pistol.
Yeah, there it is. So he focuses more on like DMR stuff. Mm-hmm. So guys show up with like backpacks, and he makes you crawl through like a cable spool. You know. Yeah. So it's like, can you get through the spool with your backpack? No. Okay. Maybe you should slim it down a little bit.
Yeah, right. Oh, look, where's my pistol?
Oh shit! Did I lose it?
Yeah, this does look pretty badass.
Yeah, he's having a summer sale on his mags. Some of them are over here, some of them are over there. This guy has more of, we'll call it a 2-gun, 3-gun kind of quick rig on. I mean, his red dot's an RMR and a rifle.
No way.
Which, yeah, he's got to retain his mag in his hand.
A guy, his Hollow Sun optic broke, and he had to finish the stage out with his pistol. So he's trying to hit like 50-yard targets with his pistol. It's like,
yeah, that was out towards the end here, where they're going off a spool. You can tell I've watched this video a couple of times.
I only watched stuff once. I'm not big on watching content repeatedly.
Is there any what kind of content do you consume out there? Is it primarily firearms content, or are you kind of all over the place?
I really don't consume too much content anymore. Like firearms content in general. I don't say this to be, douchey, but it's just so overwhelmed with like paid opinions. Mm-hmm. I generally try to watch stuff if I want to buy a product. I just want to get information on it. But between YouTube's like restrictive rules, you can't really get people tearing guns apart like they used to.
Yeah.
And people pay to give like an opinion. Like I'll give you an example. Like I'll use Garantham's AK-74 video, for his PSA 74. Mm-hmm. The whole point of that video was for him to tell you that this gun is not great. It took him 7 minutes of sizzle reel to get to, this gun's not great. Right. So that's just kind of like a common trend that I see. People, even if they're going to tell you it's not great, it takes them like 5-10 minutes of sizzle reel to get to the meat and potatoes of why it's not great. You just spent 7 minutes doing like mag drills and patrolling and operator stuff, and now you're just going to say, the bolt's not great. Like,
yeah.
But so I really try to focus on people that get to the point. Like Hop's great about that. He'll tell you how he feels about it legitimately within the first 2 minutes, and then the rest of the 20-minute video is supporting information why he gives you this opinion. Regular guy training, he's another one. Like he'll tell you that a gun sucks within like 30 seconds. Like he had a PSA 103, I think it was, that failed like miserably in one of his classes. He did a video like, hey, this gun's bullshit. All right, we're gonna get straight to it, are we?
Yeah.
So when I do watch gun content, it's going to be from somebody I know is going to give me like a brash, unvarnished. Like if they say it's good, I know it's because they believe it's good.
Yeah, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Yeah,
that's why Aerosmith has so many hits. Loving an elevator. The first words. Loving an elevator. They get right to it.
I try to be completely honest. When I make a video, I like to be completely honest, and like it just sucks though. Like when you pay good money for something, and then like it turns out to like not work out, or it just isn't as good as you thought it was gonna be, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like when I bought my first 5.56 WBP, it did not work. It was just getting casing stuck left and right. And I was like, son of a bitch. And I was like,
that's the point I try to get to people is like WBP isn't good. It's not bad, but it isn't good. But unfortunately, it's all we got right now.
yeah.
That's the only new production parts that we're really seeing other than Romanian stuff.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It made for a great video. I got good views from people watching my gun shit. And then I sent it off and got it back and it still was shitting. And so like I have like a 4-part series of this gun going back and forth until I finally got it to work with like a $20 bore brush from Amazon. And it's never had an issue since. And I'm like, well, thank God I sent this thing off, you know, for it not to keep working. And I fixed it. Look at me. I'm a gunsmith now.
Yeah,
But,
that's like the Pioneer Arms 5.56 that were floating around a few years ago. Like I had cases getting stuck. I had a bunch of stuff happening, and I was able to fix it with just like, you know, $14 flex hone.
yeah,
You know,
that's exactly what I
just had to polish up the chamber, and it ran fine after that. But again, that's the kind of content that I would want. You know, if I have a $600 gun I bought, and there's a video on how to fix it with just a $20
hell yeah.
something like that's what I would want to see, and that's what I try to put out is stuff that would be informative to somebody like looking for that product.
Yeah. And I mean, that video's 2 years old, and I still get people, hey man, I'm getting stuck casings. Do you think I should buy a flex on? I'm like, it's
Yes.
$20. It can't hurt, you know. I mean, go for it. That's
Yeah.
better than paying somebody a few hundred at least just to rip it apart and tell you, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. What do you want me to do? That's $400, please.
Yeah, I bought. I was getting back into 5.45. Like I want to say 2 years ago, and I sold all my 4.54 guns and all my ammo to help pay for my dad's medical bills. So I tried to get back into 5.45 because I like that round at the absolute worst time. There were no good guns, right? The only thing really on the market for kits were that I could afford. Let me put that caveat in there was WBPs. WBP kits were just like coming in through Arms of America.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought one of those, and I got a barrel stuck because the journal wasn't milled right. Arms of America sent me out a new trunnion, no big deal. And then the barrel they sold me sucked. I got pictures of it where the bullets are keyholing, you know, hitting the target sideways, and because they were being made by Roscoe. So Roscoe was making, the AR company.
Like, was it the barrel or the bullets that were being made by Roscoe?
No, the barrel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the barrel was being made by Roscoe, but again, WBP is unique in that they use a 23 millimeter journal instead of a 22. So there wasn't a whole lot of barrel options. So you had Roscoe's or you had AIM 74 barrels, and AIM 74 barrels are a completely different profile for all the other parts in the kit. So I was trying not to use that. So it's like I had to put 2 different barrels in it just for Arms America. Said, yep, these Roscoe's suck. I don't know what to tell you. Like, oh, all right. So I had to get it.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I had to, you know what I mean? So the point I'm making is like the WBP stuff, you know, really is mediocre. It's coming along. It's getting better, but it's still not great. And it just really sucks when you find out that a lot of these custom shops are using WBP parts for their small caliber guns. You know, you just bought like a $3,000 gun from Rifle Dynamics, and you find out it's all WBP parts. Like that's a blow to the solar plexus right there. You know, like it's like, oh man, really? Like you just sold me a 5.56 Jack rifle for $3,000.
When I what was it? When I bought that WBP 7.62. I made a video on it, you know, because that's what I was doing, just buying new shit and making videos. Like, oh, this is new. I'm going to buy it and make a video, you know, try to get some views. Yeah. And then like that gun, when I was shooting it, I was like, this thing is kicking like a son of a bitch, you know, and left it all in the video. I was like, man, out of everything I own, this thing is kicking the hardest out of everything I own. I was like, this fucking thing is brutal. And then like comments, just people hating. Of course it kicks hard. It's an AK. It's supposed to be gassed like that. I'm like, dude, this thing is like bad. And then,
you know how many times I've had to fight with people about that? Like,
dude, and it was like
4mm gas port.
Yeah, it was like
AK.
4 to 6 months. Let's say 6 to 8 months later, maybe. Arms of America was like, we're selling the WBP 7.62 with a KNS in it. And I was like, see, see, I wasn't being wrong. I was like, that motherfucker was kicking, and nobody, everybody was just hating on me on YouTube about it. Like, oh, you're being a sissy, and I'm like, no, dude, this thing is bad. And then
Well, it's like
now, adjustable gases with it. Well, hi. Oh, gee, that's weird.
the Soviet spec was like a 4mm gas port, if I'm not mistaken. And that's because they wanted that gun to function no matter what.
Yeah.
You're in Siberia, -20. We want it to function. Now saying that that's the way it should be built because that's the way the Soviets built it. That's like saying that your Ford F-150 should still have leaf springs, suspension. It's like that's the way they built it in 1950. That's the
how
way
Henry did it
now.
Yeah.
Like that's just dumb. So a 3mm gas port is usually what I put in my guns, and it works fine. It's pretty. It's reliable in almost any conditions. I've never had a problem with it. I haven't tried to shoot it in like -20, and I don't plan on it.
Yeah.
But that's where the downside is going to come is extreme cold weather, or like really inconsistent ammunition like Tula. We've all shot Tula where you got 9 rounds out of 10 eject cleanly, and you got that 10th one that goes.
That just kind of spits out. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why they had those extreme gas ports. When you get into the Chinese ones like the Norinkos, it's like 4.5. Like those bitches kick. Like
Wow.
I don't know what the Chinese had going on, but they're just.
And those are little people.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah.
They got some.
Wild.
They wanted to make sure that round was coming out of the chamber. That case was.
Do you want this thing to kick? Well, we got you.
Yeah, right.
We got you.
We're almost at the 2-hour mark, so I'm just gonna ask you real quick. Furniture. Are you a classic wood man, or do you have a favorite modern furniture that you feel is reliable and sturdy enough that you would say, yeah, I'll use that?
I don't get too wrapped around the axle with like furniture. Like I do like the 100 series polymer stocks. Like if you're going to do a side folder, the polymer is, in my opinion, better than like a metal triangle folder. But then again, there's really nothing wrong with a metal triangle folder.
Yeah.
I don't get too wrapped up in details like that. I'm more concerned with, is it headspace right? Is it riveted right? Good core parts. If we're getting into rails, do the rails hold zero? That's all I really care about. Like wood versus polymer. Wood takes heat a little bit better, sure, but at the same time, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
Does the gun work?
Yeah, does the gun work? That's all.
It doesn't work that great, but man, check out this sweet furniture.
It looks sweet.
I'll take a picture and send it to you. It looks awesome.
Yeah, this thing looks amazing. It jams, but oh well.
Well, I guess you could do this for AKs, but like for ARs, where somebody posts something. All right, show me the brass deflector.
Yeah.
How many rounds you got through that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what the equivalent for an AK might be. But, show me the chamber or something.
Zoom in on that EOTech right above where the brass comes out. Let me see how chewed up that thing is. I found that out the hard way when I bought my first EOTech. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love this. Went into like a 2-day competition. I'm like, my EOTech's all fucking chipped up. What happened? I was like, oh, I was using it.
Yeah, if I look at the where the safety goes and there's not like a clear trench, and then flipping the safety on and off, you haven't used that thing very much.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, we ask everybody here, and I'd be remiss if we didn't ask you, what's the breakfast situation at the M26 Lemon Grenade household?
Breakfast?
Yeah. Are you guys a cereal guy? Or?
Hell no. There's nothing but sugar in that shit. No,
that's why it's good.
I'm just saying there's a reason I'm overweight, and it's sugar. Like I consume way too much sugar.
Yeah.
Soda, all that stuff.
I'm doing my best not to. That's why, like, if I do eat breakfast cereal now, it's what we call the Catalina Crunch. It's like the cardboard version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There's no cinnamon, there's no sugar. It's just the cardboard square with like a dash of sweetness, but it's got a lot of protein and like no sugar. I buy it at the Costco.
Yeah.
And so that's like my cereal. Back when I was a heavy Midwesterner gentleman, when I used to love a good breakfast cereal, I was a Honey Grams guy, or Golden Grams, I mean.
Let's see. They had a cereal restaurant in my area for a while.
Oh man, I've always wanted to go to one of those.
Whoa, okay.
So it was like a $6 bowl of cereal. You could mix it any type you want. Bananas. You could put M&Ms in it if you wanted to.
Oh Jesus.
And it didn't last long because it's a $6 bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Didn't last long because I didn't live there. I would have been there all the time.
The solo
You'd have,
proprietor.
you'd have the punch card, you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I used to be a cereal fiend when I was a little kid.
The treat for me is the CTC, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah,
I
think you
can't.
got a box of that I haven't eaten cereal in like 6 months. And I think the last bowl of cereal I had was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, to be honest.
There you go.
Like these days I'm doing like I usually eat about 10 o'clock. That's when I call it my feeding. I'm doing the whole fasting thing. So like
Yeah.
that's my first feeding time is about 10:30. And during the week it's usually like oatmeal, hard-boiled egg, and some sort of fruit. But like on Sundays I do steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'll oven cook a steak with dry rub, and then
Ooh.
not scrambled, fried eggs with toast to dip in. You know,
There you go.
that's like my Sunday treat.
That's a
when
good treat, man.
Yeah.
That's a solid Sunday.
I love a steak and egg.
I've made it a
I'd do it every day if it wasn't like $4 to $5 a freaking
No.
steak.
You wouldn't do it every day because
I
I've
would do
done
it every
that.
day.
I went to the Costco and I bought the giant pack of ribeyes, and I made all 8 of them. And I ate those steaks. I had 2 every day for Sunday, Tuesday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then like Wednesday I had to cut myself off because I was like going full ketosis. It was nothing but steak and eggs. And by like Wednesday, I felt like absolute ass. I had to run home after work and eat a bagel just to get some for real. I'm not even bullshitting you, dude. I was like, I need to get some carbs in me. This is like bad.
Dude. I just watched this movie called Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah.
And like he's like the stunt guy for like this like famous actor who's like on the carnivore diet.
Right.
And he's like, you need carbs. Your brain runs on glucose.
Yeah.
So anytime somebody tells me about how great the carnivore diet is, I just think about that.
Oh, dude.
Brain
It's
runs on
brutal.
glucose. You know?
I was friends with this guy where he was on the carnivore diet and he just adopted a sheen, like a 7-Eleven hot dog that was on the roller for too long. Like he just had a certain glisten to him at all points in time that I don't think a human being should have.
I used to box and kickbox when I was late teens, early 20s. And I had to drop like this insane amount of weight in 6 weeks. And I was doing nothing but eating tuna fish.
Oh,
like I don't mean just like a lot of tuna fish. I mean, that was it. Just tuna fish.
mercury levels were through the roof.
I'm probably still a little screwed up from it 20 years later. But anyway, my breath was horrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like my girlfriend was like, God damn.
See, and this was years ago when it was just straight tuna. You didn't get like the Bumblebee packages now where it's like $1 for, you know, like the ones that are, it's like ranch flavor or citrus herb, lemon and pepper. It's straight
like
tuna in oil.
Yeah. And then like I'd have to work out on that too. Like, so I have very little calories. I'm still like boxing, kickboxing, all that stuff. And then I'd start to crash, and that's when you did Twizzlers.
Oh.
So like if I started crashing, you're like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. Suck down a couple Twizzlers to get that sugar rush. Like, all right, I could finish the workout. But it was just like my breath was terrible all the time because some dietitian explained it to me. Is like when you consume nothing but like protein and meats like that, there's a process going on in your body that you will have bad breath, and there's no amount of brushing that's going to get rid of it. And I was like, so I keep thinking about people on the carnivore diet, and I people tell me they're on carnivore diet, I'm kind of leaning in like, how bad is this breath?
Give that guy a stick of Big Red.
Yeah. Can I offer you a Tic Tac in these challenging times?
Yeah, right.
Would you like some straight up mouthwash, you dirty son of a bitch?
So can you look a Twizzler in the mouth anymore, or are you completely off that and on to red vines?
Oh, I can't.
Ugh.
I can't do it. I can have Twizzlers every now and then. Like if I'm on a road trip,
Yeah.
it's kind of like my go-to. But if other than that, it's like I just can't do it.
So
Tuna fish I cannot do anymore. Like I just got so burnt out. Like if there was a choice between like Impossible Meat burger or tuna fish, I'm going Impossible Meat. I just can't do the tuna fish.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker.
Oh, okay.
I was loading trucks at UPS.
Cool. I worked at UPS for 10 years.
That was the hardest job I've ever had. Like it was, I was in a small facility working on the belt, loading 5 trucks at a time.
Yep.
And I mean, like peak would come and it felt like you were just always going. Now I was in the best shape of my life.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that was
Doing 1,000 reps a day of lifting like
there was okay, I got a couple stories on this, but there was a ball bearing factory that was on one of my truck's routes. And the manager comes down one morning and he just goes, "Man, I'm really sorry." I was like, "Hey, like what for?" And he was like, "Most of this today is for you." And it was these little phone book size packages of just bar stock for these ball bearings. And each one of these packages was 45 pounds. And there was probably 600 of these packages.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
And like that day smoked me. There was one day where we had a John Deere tractor come through, and it was like a garden variety, so it was like a smaller one, but it was on pallets. So like the engine was on a pallet, the cab was on a pallet, the drive shaft was on a pallet, and all of these were team lifts. And they were like, "Well, we don't really have like anything to work on these," so they shut down the belt, and they had like 8 people come over, everybody grab a corner, and then just walk it down to where they could get to it.
Good Lord.
But
my first day at UPS, this is my first job after the Marine Corps. Okay. So I'm unloading trucks, I'm doing the morning sort, unloading the trucks, and some jackass put a 60-pound boat anchor on top of one of the walls in the truck.
oh my God.
So again, first day, maybe second day on the job. And the supervisor, the part-time supervisor, was this old mean lady named Jeannie. Jeannie was the female arm wrestling champ of Bethalto, Illinois. It was just like this old hard-nosed grandma, right? So the way we used to do it, that's not the way they do it anymore, but this was 15 years ago. We'd like pull the boxes at the bottom to make the wall unstable, and then we like collapse the wall so that we could pick them up and put them on the conveyor belt. So we go to collapse the wall, and it leaned forward, and the 60-pound boat anchor caught me right between the eyes.
Oh,
Like bang. And Jeannie walks in and she's like, "You okay?" It's like, "I don't know, I got hit in the head with a 60-pound boat anchor." And she goes, "Well, are you injured or are you hurt?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, if you're injured, I got to fill out a report, and I got to do a bunch of paperwork, and you're still in your probationary period. I don't know how that's going to look for you. But if you're just hurt, you can just keep working." I was like, "Well, I guess I'm just hurt,
I need this job.
yeah, exactly. It's like, bills ain't going to pay themselves. So I'm like finishing the shift out completely concussed,
Oh my God.
Thinking you're carrying 4 packages, but it's 2.
The worst one was, there's another great story, was my first peak unloading trucks was Tickle Me Elmo was the big toy. So I'm unloading this truck, and this box starts laughing and giggling. "No peeking." I was like, "What?" Because I was like a driver's helper. I was working, probably like 6 hours a day on the shift, and then being a driver's helper and going to college at the same time. So I was like exhausted, and the boxes are fucking talking to me. It's like, what the hell?
I need to take a nap.
I need something. Jeannie thought I was on coke because my mentality was like, when you're done unloading trucks, you get to go home.
Yeah.
And right. So the sooner I get these trucks unloaded, the sooner I can go home. So if I went to the bathroom, my mind is like, well, I'm behind. I need to like hustle it up. So like the standard was like 25 boxes a minute. So every minute you're in the truck, you got to put 25 boxes out. I think mine was like 30, 35. But when I came back from the bathroom, my mentality was I'm behind. So I'd start putting out like 50. I'd just like crank out like 50 boxes a minute. And Jeannie was like, "We drug test here." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you come back from the bathroom, you've got all this energy. I'm just saying, I don't know what you're doing, but we drug test." I was like, "What the fuck you talking about, you old lady? Like, I just want to get out of here. Trucks are done. I can go home."
The guy that trained me, his name was Kal-El, which is Superman's Kryptonian name.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just remember there was a box that was coming down and it had Fragile printed on top of it. And he picked it up and shook it. And it was like very much already broken. And he goes, "Fragile." Well, I don't speak Italian. And he overhead passes it into the truck. And he wasn't there for very long. He actually quit in the middle of a shift. But there was the Darius Rucker thing. This was like we could only listen to the radio in the facility. And there was like a new manager that came in, and he was like, hey, if you guys want to hook up your iPod, you can. So somebody hooked up their iPod, but they didn't put on like a playlist or like to play through anything. So they just hit the first song, and then it was Wagon Wheel. And then Wagon Wheel went through. And like you're working, there's nobody that can like change the song or like go over there or like do anything with the playlist. So Wagon Wheel goes through, and then it plays again. And we're all kind of looking at each other across the belt, like, all right, maybe he didn't name like his things right and blah, blah, whatever. And then by the 8th time, there was a guy across the belt from me who never said anything to anybody. And he comes out of the truck and, rock me back, comes back, and he just looks down at his feet and he just screams, God fucking damn it. And I mean, like, he starts losing his mind. And there's nothing we can do. Like, the belt's going. Like, you got to be loading trucks.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, we listened to Wagon Wheel, Darius Rucker for 4.5 hours until we got a break that morning. And then they just unplugged it. And for the rest of the day, it was just silent. We just needed no music to be going on because we had essentially just gotten psychologically tortured for like almost 5 hours. But I was out at a bar.
It's like some Waco type shit.
Yeah, I was out at a bar the other week, and it was like my Vietnam moment where that came on, and I just left. I was like, I cannot handle this shit right now.
No,
that's pretty funny.
We had my last UPS tour is because it's great. So this box came down, right? So this box comes down into this trough, and you got to pick it up and put it on the belt, sort it.
Yep.
And I remember I picked it up, and the bottom fell out, and it was dildos. Like there was like 50 dildos fell out of this box, right? I was like, son of a bitch. And I'm like surrounded by all these like dildos and shit. And Jeannie comes up and she's like, well, you got to send it to Overgoods. Overgoods is like where you can't just put it back in the box and tape it up. You got to have like a clerk like check it to make sure the contents are all there, right? So we have to put it in this plastic tote, for the Overgoods lady. And one of them had a suction cup on the side, right? So I put the suction cup one on the side. So it's going down the conveyor belt with this big black like rhinoceros thing going on. And then my boss's office, the manager, had like a glass door. So he just happens to look up and he sees this plastic tote going by with the suction cup dildo on it. And he's just like, stop the belt. What are you guys doing back there? I was like,
that's why the packages were late that week.
I'm in trouble, aren't I? Like,
oh shit. Brad, we've been going for a while. It's getting late. I don't want to keep you for long, but we'd love to have you back on sometime.
Yeah,
because this has been a good time.
Always available.
And,
this was great.
Man,
this was great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, can't thank you enough. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any comments for Brad, leave him in the comment section. Don't bother him publicly or on social media because I'm sure he gets enough of that.
Yeah, I got it listed on my Instagram. I won't return your DMs.
I know. I DM'd you a while ago to ask you about this. I was like, he's not even going to look at it. And then like a couple minutes later you did. And I was like, oh, cool.
I look at them all and I vet them. Like if we know a lot of the same people, like we're followed by the same people, I'll answer you. But if it's just like Joe Blow off the street, like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like a dick, but I'm just not interested.
Right. I hear you.
I'm just some like hermit that lives in the mountains with too many guns. I'm not interested in there's so many whack jobs out there. I just don't want any part of you.
I don't blame you, man.
I know that's a horrible thing to say, but it's just, I just want to keep my life simple. If I don't know you and we don't know a lot of the same people, I'm probably not going to answer your DM.
Well, I feel like we've gained a friendship here. And so I will be bugging you about other things. And once again, if anybody's got a switch for a Purse 4,
I'll look. I very well might have it. I know I got a bunch of Zenico and Perch 4 stuff in a box upstairs. I'll look through it, see what I got.
If you get bored and you want to search through that, I'll send you some cash.
I'll send it to you. It's sitting in a box. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying. I'm not. It's just sitting in a box, and I'm not using it. I got no problem sending it to you. It's not like. It's not like I'm.
Just send me it's on Gun Broker. Go bid now if you want it. And I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
damn it.
No, it's not the way I roll. It's like I don't. I'm a pretty generous dude, despite what the rumors are.
Well-
I don't believe in making money if I don't have anything invested in it. You know.
Yeah. Well, a man of the people, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. M26 Lemon Grenade, and can't thank you enough for listening. Can't thank him enough for being a guest on the show.
Yep.
It's been a fantastic time. Hopefully, we'll have him on some other time. So, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening on the Spotify or any other podcast platform, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Leave comments, thumbs up, 5-star ratings, all that stuff. Tell a friend, tell a homie, tell a ammo. That's what I'm talking about. Savage, use the code Savage25. Something good might happen. But thank you guys for listening. Love you. Have a good night, and we're gonna get out.
Shooter ready.
Shooter ready? Stand by.
Shooter ready.
Stand by.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. Shooter ready. Stand by.